do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. Oh my! What the hell am I doing? I thought I was in a real recording studio. I thought we were like recording I thought that there's a Soul Track Mind track I was recording. Well, how the fuck did I get here?
George Michael failed.
Who is this guy in your living room, Cyrus?
People, you guys don't have instruments.
That's a very good
you're
question.
no guitar hero.
He's got an instrument of some type.
Did President Obama make us have more black people?
Those of you who might have been listening to the League, a long time ago, might remember we used to have a musician who would come in. Well, he decided to grace us with his presence one more time.
And the best he can do when he shows up is play Faith by George Michael. You're fired.
Hello there.
Okay.
I'm back.
I'm only going to say this once in probably the history. Give the mic back to Grant. Okay?
Thank you.
Don't shut the fuck up, Grant.
Wait, you actually didn't tell me to shut the fuck up? I'm insulted.
Shut the fuck up. There. How about now?
He will pound your ass into the ground later.
Let's rephrase that.
Wait,
after,
you're gonna pound his ass?
Yeah, after we're talking. Yeah, we're talking. He's playing George Michael's Faith, and you're saying he's going to pound my ass.
That's what I meant.
What on earth are we doing, guys?
It's a podcast.
It is podcast.
It's called The League of Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen, and this is the final episode of Volume 2. Now, keep in mind, those of you who... Yeah, thank you for...
It's the final episode.
Yeah, this is it. We're done.
And now the airing of grievances.
This is the final destination. Part 1.
And yes, we will be talking about why everyone here hates me and how I fucked this whole thing up from the beginning of this episode. No, that's not.
Oh, shit. Let me go get my list.
Actually, we're going to talk about improper use of the word final.
How much better this would be if Kristen had been running it all along.
No.
And now we're going to talk about
Organizational
ElfQuest.
skills. And I also... Sal, I'm doing that resume thing. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get back to you on that. But no, this is the final one of Volume 2. There will be a Volume 3 starting almost immediately after this with the League Arena. But for this one, this is because you asked for it, Part 2 of the 1980s. Because surprisingly, for a lot of people who are in their early 20s, you really care what we think about the 1980s.
Yeah.
The decade you weren't even alive.
Just like Cyrus and I cared about the 70s when we were growing up. Oh, wait a minute, we didn't.
Can I just point out something horrifying to most of the people in this room? Tim Burton's Batman came out 20 years ago.
It did.
Yeah.
I was actually watching. I played Drugstore Cowboy at work the other day, and then I realized that it came out in 1989.
That's funny because
I thought you meant he was shooting heroin at
Yeah,
work.
well, I was working, quote unquote, in a shooting gallery.
that's funny because in 1989 Grant was playing Midnight Cowboy.
Welcome back. What 8? That was where was he playing it in Thailand?
I'm walking here.
But we have a crowded house tonight.
Hey now.
A little bit different.
It's the 80s.
A little bit different of a lineup than last week, so we're just going to go in a circle. I'm your host, Cyrus.
I'm Allison.
I'm some dude you don't know named D3.
I'm Bo.
It's Greg. He's back.
It's Grant. He's also back.
It's Leon, who never leaves.
It's Jason, who is here sporadically.
I'm Kristen. They can't get rid of me now.
I'm Randy. Ditto.
And Fish.
And Fish. He's the guy at the end of the credits.
Yeah,
of
it
TV
gets
shows.
He's like a punctuation mark.
Special guest, Fish.
And Jason Fisher
He
is,
is,
quote, Fish.
If we were Melrose Place, Fish would be Heather Locklear.
Yes, he would. Yes.
Thank God we're not
And if
Melrose
we were in
Place.
prison, he would be Heather Locklear too.
So that's what the wig's all about, I guess.
I got to tell you, I've never jerked off to a picture of Fish.
Jason, come
You've never been in prison either.
Today.
Methinks the lady doth protest too much.
Well, okay. And now, you guys who weren't here last week, did you listen to the 80s Leon post? The first part one? Greg did.
No.
No. But I was like, I'm not in it. Why would I listen to that?
Exactly. It gets so boring when I'm not on.
Well, because you certainly commented on it enough.
You fuckers are all quiet and
I
everything.
was just talking about the wackadoodles that were commenting on you guys.
Yeah, we do kind of talk shit about the people who aren't here, so it's probably best you don't listen.
That's probably true.
Wait a minute.
I got through the
How
random
could you
bullshit.
possibly have said anything bad about me?
Well, we
What?
didn't.
And
Yeah,
a chill
no, we did.
filled the
Oh,
room.
good. I see no reason to listen to the
There's
podcast.
absolutely no reason you should listen to the podcast. 'Cause
Awesome.
all we did was not talk about Bo.
That was then. This is
All
now.
I'm going to do this episode is interrupt Kristen.
Just Kristen? Okay. Little victories. Sorry, Kristen. Thanks for falling on the grenade.
I'm here to serve you all as a martyr.
Silence!
I was done with my statement, so you didn't interrupt me. Ha!
Kayla couldn't make it tonight because she had to see a movie premiere.
Oh, did she go to Extract?
She went to see
Extract,
Extract.
yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
And you know what? We'll be fine. We got a lot of stuff done tonight. We shot our picture, which y'all will see soon. of,
It's awesome.
our cheesy picture of the whole Leog together. We'll be putting that up on the site at some point, and a few lucky members will get signed copies of it at the party.
Yeah.
Won't that be exciting?
Yeah, that's right. Well, okay, so assuming this goes up Friday,
It should go up Friday. Yeah,
then you'll be, whoever's listening to this will be like, this will be on the eve of the big spill
it
party.
will be. Or they'll be sitting at home somewhere going, "Fuck."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not just a spill party, but a spillapalooza, as I call it.
Well, let's
'Cause this
promote
is
the
an all-day
important part.
thing.
Let's promote the important part right now.
Oh, you mean Greg's band playing on the Friday night before?
Guess-
Oh, wait.
That's not happening.
He pulled the rug on that at the last minute. After I told everybody to show up.
I knew about this.
You are more bitter than a cupful of alum. Jesus.
It's because he loves us. Well,
God.
Well, Leon's like that because he actually comes and see us. I mean, he's like in a trance. And it's really great to see. He's like dancing, you know. He's doing like that old black man dance by himself, you know, just in the back. You know, just digging out to the soul, like he's singing along to the words.
Wait,
Like,
is he clutching his chest and saying, "I'm coming, Elizabeth, I'm coming"?
Oh, not quite. He's not that old.
Not all that, but I am usually referring to Greg as you big dummy.
You big dummy.
No, but in all seriousness, what happened was we were supposed to play on the campus of UT. It's a co-op for students, and it's not going to be open. And
They didn't know that when they booked you guys?
They're
Or did
students.
they not
Did you hear
book you
the word that
guys?
they
You
said
just
they're
told
students?
everybody you were going to play there.
They're students. They're not the most organized people on the planet. So it actually got pushed to.
What?
No.
It actually got pushed to the following Friday. And my deepest apologies goes out to anybody who wanted to see it. If you're going to be around the next week, that Wednesday we are doing our regular Wednesday night thing at TC's.
And you should be there every week.
So
otherwise,
blow off your job,
otherwise
stay
you're
in
pretty
Austin.
much a traitor to Leo.
Right, exactly. So you should
We
just,
want nothing to do
cancel.
with you.
If you are flying out Sunday, cancel that ticket and fly out Thursday.
And of course, to go back to promote what's actually the big party on
Yes.
Saturday, once again, don't forget, like, not only is there the 10 o'clock a.m. Wake-up call, which I know we'll all be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for.
I will, because I get up at 6 every morning, but I don't know about you.
I'll be there. I just won't be, like, as animated, perhaps, as I usually am. Or, in fact, in this case, since it's live, animated at all. But we'll be doing our little thing at the Alamo Draft House. Then after that, at 3 o'clock, you'll see the whole Leog gang, or at least most of us. At Austin Books and Comics.
Yes.
Where we will be giving away lots of prizes. There'll be free beer. It's going to be, you can take part in a live Leog broadcast. There's absolutely no reason not to be there.
And I don't know what piss poor comic book store is in the town you live in, but Austin Books is one of the best in the country.
Now, hasn't it been awarded that a couple times?
Yeah, I mean, it's come close. I don't think it's ever got like the award, but it's been in the top 5.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, Randy.
That's fair. That's fair. We're in Round Rock, so
Yeah.
we're the best comic book store in Round Rock. I'm okay with that.
That's the piss poor comic book store where I live.
Yeah. The best store in Round Rock is like being the world's toughest Frenchman.
Yeah.
Prices just went up for a few people in this room.
It's the hottest chick in West Virginia.
You know, oddly, for one summer, I
She's
was the
got
hottest
30
chick in West
whole
Virginia.
Aren't you all the only comic book shop in Round Rock?
Shut the fuck up, Cyrus!
Okay. Well,
I got to say, though, I am a big fan of Rose Gallery.
All of the other ones burned down under mysterious circumstances.
You're the prettiest girl in this dank basement well.
Yeah.
Now rub the lotion on your skin.
You're the coolest guy in the Leog.
for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's move right into a question, and then we can fuck around some more. But we didn't really talk about comics at all last week, and I meant to. We just never got to.
So let's focus on that. How about that?
Let's at least try and get a
That's
majority.
pretty much all I did in the 80s. So
Was read comic books.
Yep.
Well, you certainly weren't having sex.
and watch horror movies.
Christian
I wasn't.
Alvarez says, who recently?
Hey, good old Christian.
Alvarez is
Love that
awesome.
kid.
We got to hang out with him at Comic Con.
Oh, no shit?
Yeah, cool guy.
Right
Very
on.
Cool
Yeah,
guy.
really cool.
He says, what are your favorite moments in comics from the 80s? And that's when we grew up reading comics. That was our formative period.
I have one word for that. 1985.
Yeah.
When everything big hit. The Dark Knight, The Watchmen.
Yeah.
You know, the rise of the graphic novel and the independence. Everything from Fantagraphics that was good. Bo, help me out.
I read
Secret Wars.
I read 1985 too by Mark Millar. That was cool.
Secret Wars 2.
I would say it was the beginning of events too in comics, which
Yeah.
when they started were cool. It just didn't.
Well,
stand
how about
out.
round robin?
Okay, yeah, sure. Go
For
ahead.
anyone that has an answer.
I mean, I was honestly going to say the death of Phoenix. You know, the whole Dark Phoenix saga.
Sure.
I mean, it's still probably my single most memorable for me at the time event. I think it wasn't until years later I really sat and appreciated how great the Watchmen and stuff were. But I was very immature then.
Bo?
For me, it was really the artistic form taking off and going above and beyond what it had been. Because really, I mean, the experimental stuff that had happened in the 60s and even to some extent in the 70s was really calming down. I mean, like the way out universes that Jack Kirby took us to, and you know the really incredible stuff that he was using, like superimposing photos into his artwork and using those as backgrounds, and just really interesting mixed media stuff had kind of gone by the wayside, and you know things were getting kind of trite and boring. The storytelling wasn't very original, and all of a sudden you started to get a new influx of writers and artists that were doing amazing things. I mean, my favorite artist of the 80s, Bill Sienkiewicz. I mean, and he went from doing like Neil Adams style commercial art to just this bug-ass, crazy, mixed media, hand-painted stuff that was incredible. Like the apex of which is probably Electra Assassin, the miniseries he did with Frank Miller, which is like visually probably one of the most arresting things I've ever seen in comics to this day.
Grant?
Since we're assuming
I
that
didn't read comics in the 80s or 90s.
he read
Curious
Cat in the
George.
Hat. Yeah.
I didn't read comics until I went to college and started
Okay,
doing.
but what comics from
design.
the 80s do you like though?
I really enjoyed the Phoenix Saga as seen on the 90s X-Men cartoon.
Grant, I'm giving you homework off this podcast. I'm going to give you a stack of homework.
Yeah.
Grant's
Yeah, no
awesome.
kidding.
Fair enough.
Leon?
Well, I remember in the 80s, I was reading this British anthology that had several stories in it. One of these stories being V for Vendetta. A couple of 2000 AD knockoffs, and it's a little something by a writer called, what's his name again? Oh, yeah, Garth Ennis. And the biggest thing, my favorite story from this anthology was something called Marvel Man, which came over to the States and was known as Miracle Man. So I was reading them way before Eclipse picked them up and started putting them in color. And I just thought it was the most incredible magazine ever.
Which, by the way, speaking of that, that was that big, you know, I'm trying to think of the proper allegory for it, but that big thing that like was inaccessible. You couldn't find it, you couldn't get it, and everyone talked about how wonderful it was. I can't count how many emails I've gotten from people like, I keep hearing about this Miracle Man. Where can you buy it? And I would just send back an email going,
Yeah. Send an email to Todd McFarlane at asshole.com.
But Marvel just got the
Marvel-
rights to it.
yeah, Marvel-
After
that's
all
right.
this time and all this controversy, they just got the rights to it. So we should actually be seeing, I assume, reprints of it. At
Yeah,
some
and
point.
McFarlane's response to that was, well, I'm going to be calling my lawyer tonight.
Yeah, probably.
Was it really?
Verbatim, actually. He said that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's really cool up until we get to the point where Miracle Man or Marvel Man, whatever they call him, is under the control of Norman Osborn and Dark Reign.
Yeah.
That's when it's all going to fall apart.
Yeah.
We'll start hating it then.
yeah, well, they'll probably like say, well, we couldn't get Neil Gaiman or Alan Moore to come in and finish it, but we got Jeff Loeb here,
exactly.
who's really one of the most amazing writers we've got in our stable.
My money's on Warren Ellis, for the record. I'm putting that bet down right now.
I would safely say you're probably right.
I'm
no,
okay
it'll
with
probably
that.
be Jeff Loeb, and then McFarlane won't look like such an asshole. Then you'd be like, hey, that guy at least was protecting it.
This is what happens, Larry.
Well, you know, the thing is, Loeb is really tight with Liefeld. So we might get the coveted Loeb Liefeld.
Awesome.
there you go.
It's about time.
That makes a lot of sense. It really does. Two great artists who respect each other's work and learn from
Because
each other.
yeah.
Because Loeb is like the writing version of Liefeld's art, really. You know, it's all ridiculously exaggerated and improbable.
Yeah.
What was next?
Mine is actually a very specific moment from the first major arc of the Hobgoblin, the Roger Stern Amazing Spider-Man. I was pretty much a G.I. Joe guy, but I was kind of branching out and grabbing other stuff, you know, right when I first really got into comics. And a friend of mine said, oh, you're collecting comics? Here, take these. He's like, I really like Spider-Man. I was like, well, okay. The guy that fights the spoiler on Electric Company? Okay, whatever. And
Leon, you were on the Electric Company?
God damn it.
I was.
He also played Easy Reader, if you will recall.
It was wide open for you not to go there.
Yeah.
Or alternate.
It was a little too easy, but yeah, it was. It was just this battle royale between Spidey and Hobgoblin, and Hobgoblin had what Tango and Cash would refer to as the RV from hell. And he's driving down the street, and he just smashes into Spider-Man, and he's taunting him, from the inside. And Spider-Man, you think Spider-Man's dead, and then, of course, Spider-Man just improbably climbs up on the front of the grill and makes his way up and doesn't say a word. And it's all from Hobgoblin's perspective as he's just talking trash to him. And Spider-Man's on the windshield, and he just starts pounding on it. And Hobgoblin's laughing, saying, that is military-grade reinforced glass. It will take as much of a mortar and he starts to say something else, and then the glass breaks. And he goes,
I'm the Spider-Man.
Yeah, and Hobgoblin says, scratch it. And then he's like, oh shit. And that's when you realize, exactly what, Peter is made of, And I was just like, holy shit.
When you piss him off enough, he can take out the Hulk.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was so damn
He
good.
turns into a cross between Steve Ditko and Ayn Rand and crashes through your windshield.
But since then, Spidey's been my favorite character. So
Oh, I'm so sorry for what's happened to you in the past few years.
listen to Leog's, all of them pretty much.
I actually, we haven't talked about that for a while, and I'm not going to at length, but I keep reading for the last week, for some reason, all of a sudden, apologists on Brand New Day. I don't know where this is coming from. These people, yes, we know it's terrible, but, here's why you should be reading it anyway. It's like, okay, we like Mark Wade, don't we? We interviewed Mark Wade. We like him a lot.
I'd like to have one of these apologists on the show sometime so that they can experience the beer bottle enema.
We discussed at the party. You know what? There's a new Sorcerer Supreme in town, isn't there?
You were pointing at me. I was like, no, it's not me.
No, it's not you.
I auditioned for the part, but
Well, you're so black, I was going to say.
Well, yeah, they do call me Brother Voodoo.
Saying,
the
new
ladies
Sorcerer
do.
Supreme, Brother Voodoo. There could be some sort of hey, he finds a way for them to go back and fix
brother.
it.
This is not going to work, man.
Well, something's got to work, damn it. I've got to read Spider-Man again, and I'm sick of waiting.
Let me put in a plug here, actually. Marvel Adventures Spider-Man. I know it's the out-of-continuity thing, but Paul Tobin just started writing it. It's Peter in high school. He's introduced a new supporting cast. He's done some ongoing stuff. The first issue was really good.
Really?
Dude, we already got Ultimate Spider-Man with him in high school.
Well, guess who pissed all over that universe?
No, it's actually the
new
one.
new
I was very skeptical, and it's real good.
I'm not a fan of the art. It's a little too it's a little too anime.
Too Jalfred. No, you're right. You know what? When I opened it, I thought the exact same thing. And then when I read it, I was like, you know what? This is going to work.
I felt the same way. It took me about until halfway through the issue.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I see where he's going with this, I think. And I do like it. I like it's like the 6 months later, and we're going to have to see a series of flashbacks. Why is the Human Torch alive? How did he end up with Gwen Stacy?
I felt the same way
cool.
about is John Romita Jr. who started the first one with him for Ultimate Spider-Man, correct?
No, it's Mark Bagley.
It was Mark Bagley? Okay, yeah. I didn't.
Yeah,
like
again, homework, Grant. Homework.
Sorry.
Well, they're really making him where he is just a teenager. How old is he? 16?
Yeah, 16.
16. And in this is the first time he really looks 16.
True.
And he's working at McDonald's.
It didn't really bother me. Yeah, he's working at McDonald's, or the analog of it, having to wear a frog hat.
Burger Frog.
Yeah.
Burger Frog.
It's like this is one of those times when you really have to respect how awesome Spider-Man is, because with all that power, you're not even going to consider knocking over just one lousy bank. You sewed your own costume. You could make a different costume.
Well, I'm like, with those smarts, he doesn't have to rob a bank.
That's
just be
true.
doing something better.
Yeah, well,
That's what
he's-
drove me nuts in Spider-Man 2. I'm like, this guy's smart. Why is he working at why is he getting fired from a pizza job?
Because all his smarts go to getting tail. When you go back over the whole thing, all he's ever really thinking about is getting laid. Because he's surrounded by supermodels who all want a piece of him. He doesn't have time to think about quantum physics. Anyway.
Well,
Yes.
okay.
If only he'd put his mind to work, he could be rich like all those other rich quantum physicists.
Well, in the world of Marvel Comics, yeah, Reed Richards, Tony Stark. I mean,
Reed Richards isn't rich because he's a quantum physicist. Reed Richards is rich because he invented, Velcro in 1961.
No. My point is that in the Marvel universe, scientists are rich. That they do on that level of
Yes,
smart
but they
invent
generally say it's because they've invented something and they have patents.
That was my point, Mr. Nitpicker.
Uh-huh.
Jesus
No,
Christ.
he's right. I mean,
he's just a quantum physicist. He's never going to make any money. Shut the hell up, Bo.
Sorry.
Hey, Bo's right. Bo knows.
That was never my point, and you know it. Moving on. Whose turn is it? Kristen? Answer this question before I punch
think
these
the
two.
quantum physicists make more than cartoonists, I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Not Charles Schultz.
Well,
Okay, more than 3 cartoonists.
Jim Davis. Mike Judge.
No, probably not Mike Judge.
On average,
I heard he
though,
didn't make
really,
that
Leon?
much from
Dude,
a
Mike
I'm not th-
Judge
those
is in
are-
the Guinness Book of World Records as being the highest paid.
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
but those
It
are
doesn't matter.
exceptions to the rule.
Yes, T.S. Eliot was a rich poet, but rich poet never should occur next to each other in any sentence.
Guys who did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The point is, if you're
Eastman and Laird, they're
McFarlane.
like selling
what's your
watches
answer
on
to
St. Mark's Place now. They screwed through that money
the
years
point
ago.
is, if
Shut
you
up.
can get a job as a quantum physicist, you probably can at least make a living from it. If you have a job as a cartoonist, the odds are you're not making a living
Wait, who
from it.
cares? Christy, what's your answer?
Tangent. Boom.
Just saying. It's possible.
You try it, Leon. You try
Marketing. You got to market yourself.
T.S. Eliot.
And what is it you do?
You guys
Or
ramble
exactly-
more than the old podcast I
You
was
guys
on.
aren't even interrupting Kristen. You're just not letting her talk.
Oh,
now.
I'm sorry, Kristen. I'm sorry, Bo. This is your turn now.
No, it wasn't. It's Kristen's.
No, to interrupt her.
Oh, that's right. Silence! Silence!
Please, Kristen. Go ahead.
Continue.
much like Grant, I wasn't
John
reading.
Byrne. Oh, no, please.
I didn't bring my dart gun tonight because my hands were too full, but rest assured, it's gonna.
Anyway, Wendy Penny, Richard Penny, moving on. Warp Graphics. Go, Randy.
You know, I'd argue with that, but I think that's probably right. Kristen, is that pretty much cover it?
Was that your answer?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
come
did
on.
finally.
You know I was teasing.
I
That
did
doesn't
finally
cover the
get
whole
talked
thing.
into reading ElfQuest after much resistance. I got admit that was a pretty damn good series.
It's a really good story.
I mean, admittedly, I
It's
felt
really
like
good.
sucking a guy's dick afterwards, but it was pretty good nonetheless.
Of course, Cyrus could read TV Guide and feel like that.
Yeah, that's not the comic. That's just you.
Oh shit! I got to go back talk to my therapist again.
But you know, I picked it up in the '90s, but it was an '80s comic. But I picked it up at the age of 12. So you know, I'm 12. So I'm picking up graphic novel 4, which depicts a lot of sex and violence in it. But it's all story driven. It's not gratuitous. There is a reason it's all happening. And so you're reading it all, and you're like, well, if this wasn't there, the plot wouldn't have moved on. But you know, I'm 12, so I'm like, oh, it's naughty that these elves are having sex when I'm reading it, and I got this out of my local library. I'm gonna get in trouble. And you know, they say it's on 12, so I'm like, ooh, sexy elves, all right. So yeah, it was great to find in my puberty years to find this really well drawn story as well.
With strangely no squids in it. I'm still curious to where that came from.
But the squids are mine.
Totally
I did, yeah, they're not from anything I've ever read. The squids are just
She's,
mine.
I was about to say, she's not telling us about discovering 80s hentai.
She's part of like some weird Disney Lovecraft enclave hive cell.
Can't I have something just as mine? Mine,
Maybe
mine.
it's a Cajun thing, because I too am fond of the cephalopods.
Well, that's again because we share a same father or something.
Yeah,
I
maybe
don't
it's
know.
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's hot.
Suddenly, I'm fond of cephalopods.
You don't even know what it is.
I don't.
It's just a fun word to say.
It is.
I just like hearing them say it.
He thinks it means girl on girl action. So.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, because I was just googling that.
That's not what that.
Still a bunch of porn sites came up though. I don't know.
Don't click on those. Oh my God, don't click on those.
Weren't we looking up Cthulhu porn the other day?
No, we were
No,
not.
let's never
Oh,
speak
okay.
of that again.
So my favorite 80s comic, actually, 80s comics are all my favorites, but the one that jumps out at me actually was the Avengers Mansion Siege. I just started reading the Avengers, and they were putting this big supervillain group of the Masters of Evil together, and they came in and kicked the crap out of the Avengers.
Oh, right.
And kicked them out of their own mansion. And you're like, okay, so like half the Avengers are in there. They're beating the crap out of Jarvis, their butler. They've got like Captain America captured, and the Avengers are on the outside. And you're thinking, well, they're kind of screwed. And then there's this big thing where they actually went and retook the mansion against this army of supervillains. They beat Hercules into a coma.
Right.
I mean, it was this great story about the villains getting one up on the heroes, and it was just this great epic Avenger story.
they kept
See,
Captain
this
America
is just a crypto-fascist metaphor for property values coming from the Reagan era. I mean, come on, guys. Let's call it duck and
So
duck.
was Busiek's Ultron Unlimited, was that 80s or was that 90s?
No, that was 2000s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was recent.
No kidding. Okay, for some reason I was thinking that was...
maybe
No more
late
beer for
90s.
Jason.
Yeah, stay in the
Alright.
decade we started up with.
Homework for you too, Jason.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wasn't that the decade where Henry Pym beat the crap out of his wife?
Oh, don't get him started.
That's every decade.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Depending on, we're rebooting the Avengers. Somehow the Wasp has got to get it in the face.
Randy's
Is that a rule
favorite
for
plot
every
device.
Avengers reboot?
It seems like
Yeah,
it.
pretty much. They start out like, how can we make Hank Pym new and interesting? And it's let's just have him beat up Janet again. It's like, Jesus, guys.
Do something different, interesting. Have him beat him somebody else.
At least, get rid of the character if you don't like him that much.
He's the one quantum physicist in the Marvel world that's not making enough.
Yeah,
No,
he's
the
not
thing
making,
is-
that's true.
I know.
It's not that they don't like Hank Pym; they just fucking hate the Wasp. Like, I want to see her
You
beat
know.
up.
Dude, I think
And that's
they do.
that's got to be annoying because it's just like, so Reed Richards, what did you do to gain your abilities? Well, I've discovered the negative zone. Well, what's that? Well, it's a big alternate universe where everything comes to a point of flux and explodes. And that helps us how? I don't know, but I made a lot of money off it. So, Hank, what have you done? I figured out a way to make big things smaller. And I'm still poor. What the fuck's wrong with you people?
I think you're right, though. I think they don't like the Wasp. I mean, look what they've done lately.
Yeah.
They had her sacrifice herself to, end the last run. Does anyone ever talk about it? No, it never really comes up, the fact that she's dead and she sacrificed.
And then
it.
in
They're just
Ultimate-
grossed out that Hank
I thought
Pym.
Blob ate
They're just
No,
grossed.
that
That's
was an
Ultimate.
Ultimate.
I was saying in the Ultimates they had the Blob Eater.
Oh, okay,
They-
never mind.
Blob
they-
Eater?
Everyone just talks about how grossed out they are that Hank Pym put her personality in the robot Joe Costa and is fucking that. Yeah, I was like, duh. Come on, he's an astrophysicist. He can't
Look, that's
afford
the
a
whole
new
reason of
girlfriend.
inventing sexy robots. Did
Wait.
you guys read Heavy Metal?
Yeah. Hank Pym knows how to make sexy robots. How is he not rich?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
They can make things smaller
Hell,
and
the-
make sexy robots.
The new version of her looks like a Jane from the Jetsons. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude.
I'm just saying, Charles Schultz never made any sexy robots, so
I'm pretty sure he never made any robots at all. But
Or anything sexy.
that's true.
Except
know,
those
Lucy's
big
a little
sexy
hot.
paychecks.
You don't know what he has locked away in his secret vault.
So, how's it going, my big babu?
All right, Fish,
did you have an answer
weren't
for
born
this?
until 20 years after the 80s. You have...
Yeah, I was alive for the last 3 months of the 80s, so.
Oh my god.
I know, but that makes y'all feel so old. All right, well, pretty much anything in comics, all I can talk about is pretty much the Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen, and all I can say is that every time I read Dark Knight Returns, I like it less because of how I think what Frank Miller's doing now.
You
And
can't
it's just,
do that. You can't look at that.
That's not
You
fair.
That thing in there. It's not the goose.
Because it was so original. It was so original then. It's not it's not the fault of how good that book is then that he kept just ripping himself off and taking those same memes and making them misplaced later.
So
But
you're
you can go back there, and I admit I've gone back, and it's just like, wow, you turned Selena Kyle into a fat whore.
Yeah.
Well, that was in the early days.
dressed up as Wonder Woman.
That was
Awesome,
in the early
Frank.
days of him making women whores.
So-
we had no idea that
We
he
didn't know
wouldn't stop doing
this was going to be a whole trend.
So, Fish, your answer is incorrect. Please try again.
Something else.
It's
We know
kind
you
of
read
like going
something
back
else.
and rereading Watchmen after thinking about that movie, though.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
oh.
true.
And you kind of go, You're like, oh, this is good. Oh, remember that movie?
Or,
Damn it.
Or when you read Ender's Game and you think it's awesome, and then you meet Orson Scott Card, and he's your
I have
best
not
friend,
met him
and
yet.
takes a photo, asks you to come over and take a photo with him, and then you tell Bo, you're all excited. He goes like, "Yeah, well, he's a big racist and a homophobe."
Actually, no, I don't think he's racist, but big homophobe. But of course, his church does tell him,
You don't
if you're not a homophobe, you won't get into heaven.
You don't see any
no,
black
just 'cause-
Mormons, do you?
Just because he wouldn't sleep with you doesn't make him a homophobe.
Orson Scott, dum 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 dum. Sorry.
Bitch, did you have another answer, or is that as far as we're going to get from you?
No, that's probably as far as you're going to get.
Okay. So let's ask D3, our new guest here, who works at Randy's comic book store.
Rogues
in
Gallery
fact.
in Round Rock.
Yes.
The best comic book store in Round Rock.
Wow, you have lackeys? That's awesome.
I prefer to think of myself as a
Minions.
henchman, yes.
Yeah.
And if you could see D3 right now, you would wonder why he looks suspiciously like a winged monkey.
You might also want to take off the nipple tassels.
No.
No, actually,
All three
I
of
got
them?
Into all three of them, although the third one's not on a nipple. Anyway, yeah, I got into comics actually. Like, I didn't get into superhero comics until like the early '90s with X-Men stuff. So that was my formative years. But I read a lot of GI Joe in the '80s because I was a military brat stationed
Very
overseas.
hama.
Yo, Joe.
Right? Yeah. I mean, my very first comic book I ever read was the GI Joe silent issue,
Nice.
and that just blew my mind.
Good
Number
start.
17.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like,
Great-
it's a
great
comic
place
book
to
and I
start.
don't have to read.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But no, honestly, I'm here mostly just listening what you guys have to say about it because I'm really kind of unfamiliar. Randy's introduced me quite a bit, talking about Under Siege with the Avengers. That was really cool.
That was a great Seagal movie. Probably his best.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I kind of like Under
Just a
Siege.
cook.
Under Siege Dark Territory.
Yeah, that was
yeah,
3,
yeah.
I think.
3? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a 3?
I think it's
I think it's on a
for
train,
God's
right?
sakes.
No, that's 2. 2's on the
Who's
train.
on the train?
Okay.
Who are the villains? Go by the villains.
Number 3, like, was it?
The villain
I
is
don't even
Steven Seagal's acting coach, who has snapped and taken over every military installation in this country.
No, Bo, you're incorrect. The villain is actually the casting director of all three of those films.
I don't even know if there is
Just a cook.
I don't even know if there is a third one.
I mean,
so.
isn't like by the 4th one, it's not even Steven Seagal, it's Robert Urich. as Steven Seagal.
Yeah, Robert Urich's Cold Corpse, who actually gives a better performance than Steven Seagal in his Navajo fucking jacket.
I thought it was awkward how they taped the ponytail on Robert Urich, though.
It's
Especially
just,
after those cancer treatments. It looked really weird.
It's just Dolph Lundgren and Grace Jones having a slap fight. It's really, it's kind of sad.
There are some actors, admittedly, that even if their movie is passably good, you probably shouldn't see it or give any money to them because they'll make 8 sequels. It's like, yeah, y'all are all excited about JCVD now. Wait till like a decade from now when you're looking back going, yeah, we didn't know there was going to be 6 fucking sequels to it.
Oh, you mean like Aerosmith albums?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. No, I also have to say I also really enjoyed the Dark Phoenix saga as told by the '90s cartoon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll also back that one up.
That cartoon was awesome. Fish.
Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na.
You know what?
Fish.
I have to give it up to that cartoon. Like, at first, I was so like, yeah, I don't know about this. But the more it went on, I'm like, you know what? It's doing a good job of retelling these stories, which all came from the 80s. Almost every story
Yeah,
they told
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But
well-
but it's for that generation. It really is like their source. Like, there's people I talk to who think Venom really did come from the space shuttle, not from the Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And now there's this whole new generation
Yes.
who they know Green Lantern as black. Like when they see Hal Jordan,
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen that.
wait, what's this white guy in
Yeah.
the Green Lantern suit now?
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool. We've got don't we have like a John Stewart miniature in the shop?
Yes, we do at Rogues Gallery Comics and Games in Round Rock have a Green Lantern of all kinds.
But actually, that was unrelated.
Hey,
I'm actually mistaken.
not 20% off,
But yeah,
I'll buy it.
at the shop, we have people come in. At the shop, we have like these like 25-year-old guys come into the shop and they see Hal or they see Kyle and they're like, when did Green Lantern turn white?
Yeah.
Well, John Stewart actually is the imperfection in the Green Lantern ring that gives them their weakness to high yellow.
Oh my god! Wow! Holy
How did you know to
Jesus!
do that?
Now you're taking my material.
Let me just say this about the 90s X-Men cartoon, though. Didn't they put Gambit into the Dark Phoenix saga?
Oh, yeah.
Fail.
See, total fail, yeah. I'm sorry.
No.
Gambit is a lame character. I'm sorry.
What?
I know lots of
You
people
have
like
two
Gambit.
Cajun
Dude,
chicks.
yeah, so you don't know what you're getting into.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
You're gonna be fucking.
Against Cajuns,
We're
but
all
he's a
gonna be.
lame
Yes, you do.
character.
We're all gonna be rendered into gumbo. Shut the fuck up.
As a child
I'm
of
doing
the
Boudin,
90s,
man.
Gambit was easily one of my favorite characters.
Strangely enough, as a child of the 90s, a big X-Men 90s guy, I was never that big into Gambit. I thought he was
Thank
kind
you.
of like
You can stay.
He was he was an effeminate, girly man, and I just couldn't get into it.
I
He's
just
a
didn't
Cajun
understand.
Aguero.
Alice.
How is this guy even possibly a threat
Dude, you're
to characters
closer. Will
like
you
Wolverine?
hit him, please?
See that
cards
that
at
is
you.
speaking as somebody with coon-ass family members. It's like I kind of had the same problem with him that I did with Banshee, which was like, Banshee was Irish because the X-Men were multicultural, but he was thought they're always after me, Lucky Charms Irish, and he's always smoking like a huge fucking clay pipe, and he's just like, dude, where do you keep that? You're wearing tights, and he's like, let's go back to me castle where I live with my family, and it's just like, and like it seems like Remy LeBeau Gambit, the only reason they created him was really the popularity of the Cajun chef going, hey, people like the Cajun chef. Let's make a Cajun superhero.
Okay, guess what? The whole multicultural UN stereotype jambalaya that was in Giant Size X-Men #1, that Chris Claremont, right?
Right.
Created, and he still, for the longest time would have
who obviously favors a one world government and is a communist.
Yeah, would have Colossus going. He would have Colossus going, Dos Vidania, and of course Kurt, always talking in German, and Aurora was this mystical African goddess, and they were all such horrible stereotypes. And guess who created Gambit? Chris fucking Claremont.
At the same time, though, in the context of the era, though, I mean, that was pretty progressive.
Well,
absolutely.
Back to what you said, it's funny because when we talked to Jim Shooter, even he was like, with them naming Colossus Peter Rasputin, he was like, Rasputin, really?
I know. I couldn't think of any other Russian names.
One thing is they introduced Jubilee around the same time, and they've got the exact same power, pretty much. It's like Gambit's just Jubilee, who's a dude with an obnoxious accent.
She makes things
I will say Gambit's cooler than Jubilee.
They're pretty close.
It's a grenade versus a firecracker.
But I'll defend Gambit though, because as Bo was mentioning, he's talking about Justin Wilson, the chef. Justin Wilson, that's not his accent. He is his own mockery. Justin Wilson's chef thing is a total act. For some reason, people never believe me when I say that. So I think Cajuns can laugh at themselves because we've been stereotyping ourselves for decades. So when I see Gambit, I'm like, yeah. But it's funny because I do that. I do that in my own freaking comic. Like I totally. What?
I'm
Justin
sorry.
Wilson? No, he throws ingredients.
I was only halfway listening.
My whole thing
thanks
with
as
Gambit,
usual,
like,
Jason.
okay,
I generally
he was
tune
that
out when-
scruffy bad boy. I got that. He was Cajun, kind of cool. But he wore hot pink metal for his costume with an overcoat over it. Like, he's kind of embarrassed, but not
We can't afford dark colors in our stage. Shut up.
No, he did.
That's all we can afford.
It's the salt air. It makes everything light pink. What the
If
fuck?
he'd been created in the 80s, no one would have thought twice about that costume. And he was like a decade too late to be wearing hot pink.
No, he
spandex.
dressed like an 80s Vegas magician, is what he dressed
Because,
like.
again, it's Louisiana. We're 10 years behind the times, man. It totally makes sense.
To be fair, like the Gambit costume, that was like the prototype for all of the bad costumes in the '90s. It was like the headgear with the hair coming out through the top, a la
I didn't get what
Captain
that was
Marvel,
all
but you can
about.
see
What?
the full face.
No, you're totally
And
right.
then he's wearing like a trench coat over tights, and it's like, why are you wearing a trench coat?
Animal Man started that.
Yeah,
with the windbreaker
Bonus
over
points
the
to
costume.
you, Remy LeBeau. Okay.
Well, Wolverine had a bright yellow and blue costume.
But that costume was awesome.
That was awesome. That was from 1970.
But he
Allison?
was Canadian, Grant.
He just didn't have enough pockets in the tights, so he had to have the overcoat to keep all of his fancy cards and stuff.
Plus, he got off that hobo he
Yes.
killed.
Because it's always raining.
And really, wasn't Gambit vindicated in the Wolverine movie? Just
I
recently?
think that all these
I didn't see
damn
it.
it.
Nobody
That's
was
just
vindicated in the
mean,
Wolverine
dude.
movie.
That is
Even
mean.
more because of that.
Fine.
You know what? I want to see. You were talking about Canadian characters, though. I totally want to see an Alpha Flight movie done by the Coen brothers, like Fargo. That would be the best thing ever. Where they all have that.
That sounds
heavy
good.
accent.
I like
that would be badass.
But by the way, Alpha Flight was a great comic in the 80s.
Yes, it was.
So in short, that's all I had to say about 80s comics.
I think the first 12 issues were very good, and then like John Byrne decided to not do it anymore, and it got weirder and weirder and stupider, and then it just turned into a piece of crap.
Did you see the new Mighty Avengers? Did anybody read that? Where the Chinese superhero group goes after like the original what are the names of Black Bolt and all those guys? What are they?
the
Inhumans. They go for the original, like their king or old deposed king, and he just flattens them. And one of the other Avengers goes, "Oh my God, they totally got alpha flighted."
Screw you, Bendis.
That's awesome.
Wait, China has enough superheroes for a group?
Yeah, right.
The only one that I can think of is the Collective Man, who they made specifically for the 1980s miniseries Contest of Champions, where they brought in all of the main Marvel comic book superheroes for this contest between Death and the Collector, the Elder of the Universe. But they realized that, well, this is a worldwide event, and we don't have any other heroes other than Americans, and so they were just tossing up like the Arabian Night, and who's the Irish superhero? Shamrock.
How about Le Peregrine from France?
Yeah, Le Peregrine from France, who can fly and knows La Savate. French kickboxing.
It was definitely not the right use of the word champions. Contest of American superheroes and a bunch of lamos you'll never hear of again.
It was like the dream team playing basketball with, well, anybody else. It was just kind of sad.
That was in the 80s. It sounds like wrestling in the 80s.
Exactly. The Iron Sheik.
Yeah, no,
and now drunken McMickey Mick.
Actually, all those guys ended up playing for the Washington Generals at some point.
Actually, I was living in Germany during the 80s. I remember that wrestling was really big.
They did have a German superhero, Lightning. And of course, he was Blitzkrieg because nobody would have objected to that in Germany.
But I didn't get a lot of the comics. Were there any? I
was living
comics?
in Germany at the time in the 80s.
Oh wow,
too.
that's
I think
cool.
there were Mexican.
And I was a military brat.
We're
kindred spirits.
Can we make out later?
You can make out right now if you want.
Uncomfortable.
Hey,
no, but my
can
question,
you erase that off of the tape?
My question was going to be yes. Okay. My question was, were there any like wrestling comics? I'm sure there were.
There are lots of luchadors.
There were wrestling comics, but I don't know if they were 80s.
Muscle men in cat suits.
You know, and surprising.
I can't think of any. No.
Marvel, who, if they suffered from anything in the 80s, it was making a comic book out of fucking anything.
Well, you know,
including US1.
I was going to mention that.
Oh, and also remember
superhero trucker.
Remember The Thing when he was on the underground wrestling
the
circuit?
Closest they did is they did the Unlimited Class Wrestling League, which had superheroes like Thundra and The Thing, and I think that was it. Yeah. Just wrestling all the time.
And Songbird from the Thunderbolts came out of that, actually. She was a screaming Mimi.
I used to get all these 80s toys, like my He-Man toys, that would come with little mini comics attached to them. And
I've still got
I'm
some
not
of those.
sure about the 80s wrestling toys because I used to get those hand-me-downs. But I wouldn't be surprised if those also came with mini comics because they seem to like throw comics into like all those toys.
There was a Chuck Norris comic.
There was?
Yeah.
And then there's Superman versus Muhammad Ali.
And Superman lost.
70s.
There was also a Pope
70s.
John Paul comic that Marvel did.
There was a Pope
true.
John Paul comic.
Yep.
And I remember seeing that at the Safeway down the street from my house, looking at it going, dude, the Pope's a fucking superhero? Oh, my God.
The Flying Nun totally should have kicked his ass. That was rigged. I'm sorry. It was totally rigged.
He had that
Are
staff,
you
though.
speaking ex cathedra, John Paul? I don't think so. Whack.
I don't know why they never did issue 2 with him versus Buddha.
So, one question. Then,
They couldn't get the
about,
rights.
An hour and a half. What's the next one?
Oh, yeah. We got another. That's a good point, Grant. Thank you. Now that you've done that, can you get me a beer? Thanks.
Yeah, me too,
Jedi.
Grant.
I'm just kidding.
Chop, chop.
Jedi Master
I know you're
Dylan
kidding.
asks.
I'm not kidding.
I'm not totally kidding, but
Yeah, I'm not.
hey, Leog, this era is a little too late for me. But what was the best superhero movie to come out in the 80s?
There wasn't one.
Yeah, there
there was
was
only-
Superman 2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, was that the 80s? Oh,
That was the 80s.
okay. All right. But you got Superman 2 and then nothing until Batman.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
we can't
well-
count Superman 3
What
and 4.
about Dark
Come on.
Man, huh? Dark Man?
Which came out after.
Condor.
Did it? Oh,
Wasn't
you're
that
right. It was
like
after
91 or
Batman. You're
something?
right.
What were you saying, Allison?
Did somebody mention Condor Man?
Condor Man.
Yeah, that wouldn't qualify as better than Superman 2, though, I think.
Or good.
Hey, man,
actually
I
did
had
get me
fun
beer.
with Condor Man. I won't defend its quality, but it's fun.
I'm going to ask you the standard question. When was the last time you watched it?
1986.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Escape from Witch Mountain count?
Yeah, I'm gonna have, it's Tim Burton's Batman, 89.
Really,
Yeah.
you think that's better than Superman 2?
Oh, okay,
have to say
it's
yeah.
close. I think it's neck and neck.
Oh,
No, I would say
Oh,
yes,
come on.
Batman.
He takes the giant cellophane S and throws it at
Compare that to Killing the Joker.
Oh, come on, that's not.
Compare
I
that
don't
to the
think
Bat
that- yeah.
Dance.
Yeah, compare that to
Dance.
Joker
The Bat
dancing
Dance.
through the
Bat Dance.
the
The
museum.
Bat Dance, the whole big
Prince's-
music
Prince's
solo.
Bat
Oh
Dance.
wait, are you talking about the museum sequence?
Yeah.
That sequence rocks, dude. What are you
Dude,
talking about? When the
it-
Joker comes in and starts spray painting fucking
It's,
cocaine.
but
I'm
but
talking about
it's
the-
suddenly the TV show in the middle of what wasn't
I-
a movie of the TV show.
I don't
I
agree with
disagree
that. Yeah.
entirely.
I'm
I think
sorry,
that
I
illustrated how psychotic he is. I
How
think-
about-
I think
That's
it's
very
very
It didn't work for
How
me.
about the Prince video itself, where he's half dressed as one character and half dressed as the other? Does anyone remember the Prince video?
Yes, I do.
You're
Not helping our
Prince
case here,
Albert.
Yes, it
Kristen.
was awesome.
Not helping the
Because
case.
I
I love the
can't, I
soundtrack.
can't go back and watch that movie. That's my problem with that movie. I enjoyed it at the time. I can't go back.
I actually threw away my cassette copy of the
I
Batman
think that might
soundtrack
be-
like last week.
I think that's Prince's
Last
last
week you did?
best
Really?
full album, actually. It's
Wow.
best full album.
Oh, I don't have a problem with the album. It was
No,
the,
but but I mean, I'm just saying. But you got to also put it in the context of when the movie came out. It came out 20 years ago. I was graduating high school, but so it was a huge deal when I graduated. I mean, it was like I can't remember Superman 2 being that big.
Oh, it was huge.
Sure.
I mean,
It was
I'm
big.
just saying. But I was a child when that came out. But when Batman came out, it just seemed like the biggest movie in the world.
I mean, I loved Batman when it came out,
I
but
did
even
too.
watching it originally, I definitely have some issues with this. The only thing I could even think of at all that bothered me with Superman 2 was the cellophane S thing, and it was like, okay, that was like an eighth of a second, and it was just kind of like, okay, and you just forgot about it as soon
You know,
as
the thing is, I actually really still like the Burton Batman. I have a huge fondness for it, but there is nothing in the Burton Batman that's better than General. Would you care to step outside? Nothing.
No, I agree.
Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, okay. I completely forgot about that.
Because
starring.
damn, that was Courtney Cox.
No. Forget Courtney Cox. You know who had top billing in that movie? Billy Barty, the midget.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember sitting in a dollar theater and Billy Barty's name came up first, and me and my buddy looked at each other and went, "Uh-oh."
You know, when I was just researching the questions we're going to do for the League Arena, and I ended up reading the whole page on He-Man, because I was like, wow, this was actually a pretty entangled, complicated little cartoon. It's like, everybody's related, but a
Yeah.
lot of them don't even know they're related, and everybody's lying to somebody else about their secret identity. I was like,
Okay.
well, I'm going to have to go
Yeah,
watch
it's like Melrose Place.
If there's some He-Man questions in there, I want to tell people who are in the audience right now, I'm your guy. Call on Jason, okay? Because I had Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain and all that.
That's going to be the trick, though, is that they have to pick the member, and then the question comes.
I'll be your
So-
She-Ra go-to.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't
Also,
know She-Rock.
You can just go to Jason's house and ask him stuff about T-Man while you're here. Just go knock on his door. He's always ready.
You can pretty much.
Usually sitting there with my loincloth and my sword of power.
Oh, is that what that was about?
And you did say you
Welcome to Castle Grayskull, cowboy.
You did say you had room for like 6 people to spend the night at your house, right? While they're in town.
Yeah.
Only if they're cosplaying Masters of the Universe.
Yeah. Send me your measurements first.
Well, Pete the Sinister Duck asks, long-time lurker, first-time question asker.
Pete the Sinister Duck.
Yeah, well, I never heard it either, but as he said, first time he asked a question, so.
Are we really going to mock the name Sinister Duck? I mean,
No, I like it.
At this point,
from all the other names?
Yeah,
I don't think
very
I'm
true.
mocking.
I know there's a bit of a difference between the terms geek and nerd, but I'd still like to hear the league voice their opinion on that great piece of 80s cinema epicness, Revenge of the Nerds. And man, I loved that movie. I think I saw it 6 times in the theater when it came out. It wasn't like we were like, oh yeah, this is totally vindication. It was just funny.
Yeah. No, it's really funny.
was awesome.
It's a pretty good cast. I mean, it's one of those. The '80s did a really good job of having that like B level of entertainment, which is kind of gone. You know, now so much stuff just goes straight to DVD and never hits the theater, and that might have been something that would have, but. You know, it got up there, and it was funny and kind of clever and kind of offbeat. Even though let's call it Duck a Duck. It was a teenage boob comedy. You know,
I was gonna
that's
say
part
it
of its
was really
appeal.
formative for me because it was the first movie I saw boobies in.
there you go. So it was one of the first that they showed. The down below parts, if you know what I'm talking about.
Hair pie. Hair pie.
You know, you guys saw Porky's?
Oh yeah, Porky's is good, but I always liked Pure Genius better than
Real
Real
Genius.
Genius.
Real Genius.
Yeah.
That's the one I love.
I mean, it's funny because actually at the time I like Revenge of the Nerds better because it had more boobies. But now as a grown up, I own Real Genius. I don't own Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
Although
Kent,
that's
stop playing with yourself.
at the end with the big and Revenge of the Nerds, the big like carnival contest they do. I had that song that the black nerd did stuck in my head for like a year. After
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
I was like, "Where's
I still
the
love that
soundtrack?"
musical number. I still love it.
It's on my
big problem I had
iTunes.
with that. He's a nerd because he's gay. That doesn't even make any sense.
Well, I mean, back then,
Didn't it in the 80s?
He
Like,
just happened to
you
be
were
a
an
gay
outcast?
nerd.
he was an
But
outcast.
no. He was gay, but there was really nothing nerdy about him.
I don't know. He was kind of nerdy.
He was an engineer.
He was a javelin.
He was very
Yeah.
shy. And he was
He
very
designed
afraid
that-
of people.
That sounds like a euphemism.
Dude, okay, if he had been going to college in like the late '90s, he would have been like a hugely successful DJ. He would have been getting ass left and right, literally. He would have been big, gay guy. His whole thing is the turntables. He likes to dress stylishly. Yeah, but in the mid '80s, like that.
Yeah, I think it was the
it's kind of
electronic
weird.
rock.
And the
That was
Actually, in the movie, he is not the DJ. He is the MC.
Oh, okay. Well, same.
Yeah, no turntables.
Clap
no,
your
there's
hands,
nothing.
everybody.
Not
Very
same thing.
different.
You got
Same thing.
what it takes.
You know, Leon may have a point here. I hadn't thought about it, but he's kind of right. There's nothing particularly nerdy about him. He's just sort of outcasty.
So you can't
but he falls in with the other outcasts. I think that's
he
sort of the
falls
point.
with
yeah.
the outcast, sure, but he's not.
So
he's
you
not
can't
technically not a
suspend
nerd.
So it should have been
Hey.
called. It should have been called Revenge of the Nerds and the gay guy.
I love the movie.
Booger-
I think it's just as funny as you guys. But
Yeah,
that was always
the
the thing when I watched it. I was
Booger's
like,
not geeky in any way that we would, he doesn't come up and say, "Oh, I read a lot
Booger
of
was a
comics, I do
dork.
this, I that." He was a thug, for the most part.
Anthony
Sorta,
Edwards and
but-
Robert Carradine, sure, those guys are total nerds, absolutely.
Yeah.
And some of the other ones, but yeah, the black guy and Booger, I don't know.
We're being
They go more
strict about our
See,
terminology
this
here.
is
Is the
this
problem?
is the most amazing conversation I've ever heard. I mean, a cultural breakdown of Revenge of the Nerds, and it's fascinating. It really is.
It was more like Booger was a freak, like
Yes.
freaks
Yeah.
and geeks.
Yeah,
How they,
okay.
There's the
Fair enough.
freaks,
I
the
think that the
geeks,
film was
nerds.
going with the conceit that they're just all societal rejects.
I think
it's not,
if
they're
they-
not nerds by the strict definition of pocket protectors and glasses with tape.
When they
Everyone's
remaster it, it'll be the Revenge of the Nerds, the gay guy, the guy who's sort of a freak, and they'll just have to keep adding on. I think that.
Oh, I saw that movie, The House Bunny, where they classify all the geek girls and don't watch it. I'm sorry.
I
didn't
know.
brought it up.
I feel dumber
that
having
so
heard that
much.
much.
It was a really bad one. Really bad movie.
Man, you're still suffering from that. That was a month ago when you saw it.
Dude, that was one of the was it that time because Revenge of the Nerds, the nerd girls in it. I mean, they were cute, but they were definitely nerds. Like there was only so much you could do to fix them up, and they wouldn't be the girl that, as it turned out later in every movie, the nerd girl just takes her glasses off, lets her hair down, and
Oh
she's
my
the prom
God,
queen.
you're so
Those
attractive.
girls were
Jessica
nerds.
Alba. You had
Right.
glasses on the
Heather Locklear, when you put your glasses on, you look like a crone. But when you take them off, magnificent.
No, in the House Bunny, they weren't even trying.
Yeah, and
It
this
was
is
like,
this is
come
what you
on.
get from learning all of your life lessons from movies like I did, because I took the nerd girl's glasses off and I was just like, oh Jesus, you got a lazy eye. Okay.
All right. Glasses back on, hair down.
Right. Okay, no. Hair up, glasses on.
All
No,
right,
no.
Let's turn the light off. There's still light coming.
All right, I'm going to hold off on the second bag. We'll just see how the first one works out.
Ooh, a double bagger.
Oh, Jesus.
I've only single bagged it. I never went double.
Well, you haven't lived, my friend.
I've double bagged, but that stuff was cellophane. Does that count?
Oh.
And that's how Bo killed his first hooker.
This individual pieces, or
Technically, she wasn't a hooker, but he told himself that.
yeah, he left.
I
He
think
left a
what
buck.
is most important is that I didn't panic.
He left.
You know, if you stuff a 20 in her pocket when you're done, she's
Yeah.
a hooker.
Exactly.
20, $1.50.
Enjoy the cab home, darling.
Oh wait, you're dead.
If I may segue from this,
Well, he actually he
please.
he put coins over her eyes.
Oh, please.
Grant, we haven't made you feel uncomfortable enough yet.
Guys.
You know, my girlfriend's never let me do that.
And here's
It's weird. Don't do that. It's creepy.
and these are for the ferrymen.
Jesus.
These are for the ferrymen, you dirty, dirty slut.
What?
There's nothing to see. All is calm.
It's all right, Grant. Go to your happy place.
Hey guys, so I went to Morocco for 2 weeks, and
Did you kill any hookers?
while I was in Morocco, I got you guys things.
What?
Oh,
And
really?
I wanted to bring this up before, if this is a 0.5, you're going to try and end in a couple minutes.
And that's about all the time we've got. For this one.
Well, good.
Dude,
No
he's
good.
got stuff for us. Shut up.
Oh, is it little
sorry.
fezzes? Little fezzes? I want
Man,
little
but
fezzes.
you guys better give me thanks.
How about a manservant in a fez?
I'm hoping he brought me black tar heroin.
Monkeys.
Wilmer Valderrama.
By the way,
On the next episode, I expect like a half hour dedicated to, praising me for giving you stuff up here.
oh, we
Well,
totally
Dervish.
did when you were gone.
Grant, I got your postcard yesterday.
Oh, yeah? You finally got
Yeah.
that? Cool.
I didn't get one either.
Well, if he doesn't have your
Thanks
address,
for bringing that up here. That's really cool. Dude.
Okay, not the best timing.
Are you guys impugning the quality of mail service in Morocco? Because you can just stop it right now.
Oh, it is a fez.
Yeah.
Don't get too excited, girl.
I'm just excited that there's a fez in the
There
room.
are fezzes.
Fezzes are awesome. Now I can go to Lovejoy's again downtown.
To quote Steely Dan, ain't never gonna do it without the fez on.
Hell yeah.
Did you get a girl hat?
I did not get girl fezzes. You can give that to Fish.
Oh my god, this is so cool.
And understand out. No, hold that.
It's too bad you guys
I
didn't
didn't
have
get enough for everyone here, so.
I get one, right?
Yes, I got you one.
It's too bad you guys didn't have the fezzes for the picture.
I
Well,
thought about it.
Then we would have looked like Shriners or something. It would have taken a whole other dimension.
Well, Randy did ride his tiny motorcycle over here, so.
Well, they have like a little.
Is that a euphemism?
Yeah, belly dancer wear?
And boy, am I sore.
You get belly dancer
Belly dancer wear? What?
No, I got the girl's
That's even
scarf.
better than fezzes.
I don't know who.
hey,
wants
mine
to
has
agree.
money in it.
I kind of lean towards the blue.
Just saying.
Okay, so for those of you listening
Thank you,
at home or the
Grant.
office,
It's really exciting on the podcast.
Oh, it's like a mermaid. I'm a mermaid.
Everyone's wearing fezzes. I'm sorry, Randy, and
I brought my own hat. It's cool. It's cool.
But actually, Randy, since you're the new guy,
what
you
did
have
you
to give
bring?
me that hat.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
It's league rules.
Thank you,
All right,
Grant.
fair enough.
This is-
There you go.
You're the new bitch.
Grant,
you very much.
this
No
is
one's won that before
absolutely.
except Justin
It really works with
Timberlake.
the fez.
This is totally full of fuck yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
This is
it is.
beautiful.
Thank you, Grant.
I love
Thank
you,
you very
Grant.
much.
Guys,
We might have to wear this on.
We're wearing this to the party.
We're
That's
wearing
all
this
I-
on the party.
Hell yeah.
That's a good call, actually.
we're the League of Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen, and we wear fezzes. Damn it.
Who's
Now we-
bringing the hookah?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. We need
You guys
hookahs.
really are like one of those.
And people
old
trying to
dudes.
get the hell out of Morocco.
All I need now
Talking to-
is a tiny, tiny car.
And some symbols.
And some
Yeah.
Oh, you got
And a
symbols?
charity and a parade.
Do you have an organ grinder?
No, I got you guys necklaces here.
What?
Oh my god.
Not you guys, the
Oh.
ladies.
Oh.
Sorry, we could probably move on with other topics on this.
Okay.
But you know what you got to do to get the necklace.
Yeah, think Mardi Gras.
You got to get Cyrus to show his tits.
It's
Take
not
these
that kind of
coins,
necklace.
Put them on your eyes.
Handmade necklaces.
Okay, we will move on. Ghost Rider, who we love. Yay,
Yes.
Ghost Rider. Who's the official mom of
Hi,
the League
Internet
of
Mom.
Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen. Says, now I know most of the League members were just little bitty kids back in the 80s while I was getting my Bachelor of Arts degree and joining the Army, and Leon was probably just going into college at that point.
Hey, I was in high school. What are you
I think he
talking
was
about?
just starting to teach college at that point, actually, but
You fuckers.
she says, so my
I
question
love how
is,
you guys are like 3 years behind me. I'm the old guy.
yeah, what are you going to do? We all got our thing.
Sorry, Methuselah.
So my question is, what was your worst fashion disaster of the 1980s? Let's face it, the only two guys who looked cool were Don Johnson and Michael Jackson.
Well, how funny that I dressed like Don Johnson.
So did I. Yeah.
I dress like Michael Jackson.
Didn't we bring this up last time?
Yeah, we did.
Did we? I don't
Piano
remember.
tie was the final word on
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
I have a terrible horror story. It's tear inducing.
Okay.
So I'm in junior high.
Should I take the fez hat off?
No,
Is it
you
disrespectful?
might need to
Or
wipe
you,
your
you could
tears
not
with
interrupt
it.
her.
But I
Damn.
was in junior high, and I was always late for school because I'm a night person. I don't get up in the morning and go to junior high. It's kind of a waste of my time. So my mom says to me, "If you're late to school one more time, I'm going to cut off all your hair." And I thought, she's bullshit. She's not going to cut off my hair.
Your mom's a whore, by the
I
way.
get it. She's the devil.
Jesus.
And
Devil whore.
so yeah, I slept in one afternoon and accidentally missed the bus. And that was it. Took me down to the beautician's, and I looked like a 10-year-old boy for about 6 months.
Wow.
Whoa.
But that's not the worst part. The worst part is that at some point when it started to grow out, I thought, you know what would help this?
No, it wouldn't.
A perm.
Oh, God.
So I look like a stalk of broccoli with acne.
That was one of the most evil things about the 80s was the prevalence of the home permanent. Because, yeah, you'd see these pretty girls. They'd leave on Friday, and then they'd come back Monday with that, oh, look, I got a perm. And everybody would make fun of them, and then by lunchtime, they'd be sobbing.
Instead of
just
dead
like,
squirrel
oh,
girl,
God.
it's dead poodle girl.
I thought you were going to say the worst thing about like getting the shaved head and looking like a 10-year-old boy is all of a sudden your granddad was like, come sit on my lap more.
See, I thought she was going to say, and then Michael Jackson came to my house. And
So you got the Rhea Perlman, basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was bad. And I have pictures. Nobody believes me. They're like, oh, whatever. You're so pretty. That can't possibly. No.
Well, you know, we have a website you can post it on.
That's true. I kind of like to see that, actually.
I don't know.
No, never going to see the light of day. All
Rhea Perlman, she snagged Danny DeVito, and I think,
You know what? They're perfect for each other. Hush.
I had a real Perlman sighting last night. She was unhung. She plays the girl's mother, which is weird. It's like, what?
I really like Real Perlman, and I like Danny DeVito because he didn't waste any time. He married her early on. He didn't. He could have easily been one of those
That's
guys
right.
who's like hanging around with like models who. Come on, let's face it, we're into it because of the money and
He went up to her and he looked her dead in the eye and said, hey, this is pretty much it. This is all we got.
Well, he looked her dead in the eye because she was the only one he could look at.
Exactly.
no, I love them. I love them both. I love them both. But I'm just saying, you don't want to see that amateur sex tape turn up on the internet.
God!
Well, that'd be interesting.
That would actually hurt their career.
I actually did one thing you guys didn't mention last week, but there was a fashion faux pas that I had was. This was in my warehouse. I actually owned a couple of those Cosby kind of sweaters.
No.
Well,
I love the Cosby.
You had a Jerry curl. Come on,
No,
Greg.
I never had a Jerry curl.
Greg.
You had the Soul Glow?
Then what you have in the 80s? Come on.
I had a flat top.
Okay,
Just
that's
so
No, my mother would not ever. She hates Jerry curls. But yeah, flat top. I had every variation of a flat.
You have a kid and play?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
and there are pictures of me with both with the kid and play and bad sweaters.
See, mine was more of a
That we'll
Larry
never see.
Blackman.
Nice.
You had that, Larry
Yeah.
Blackman. You had that.
Yeah.
Nice.
If y'all don't remember Larry Blackman, he
Lead
had
singer
like,
of Cameo.
It was like a
Yeah.
foot high off top. Of
Nice.
But kids was 2 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
I will cop here and there to owning no less than 3 pairs of parachute pants.
Right on.
And
Too legit
the not quite a muscle shirt, not quite a t-shirt, diagonally striped shirt. Yeah.
I had a zipper
Sad,
vest,
sad,
so
sad.
I can't say much.
You had a zipper vest?
I had a zipper vest with mesh netting in it.
Oh.
Well, I didn't dress like Michael Jackson or Don Johnson. I dressed like Axl Rose. I had some skull and crossbone tights with my cowboy boots.
Ooh,
I had long
damn.
hair.
I was from the douchebag line.
Hey, Kristen.
Yeah.
Kristen, will you
I
loan
had a denim
D3 your
vest.
scarf to tie around his microphone stand?
That's Aerosmith, not Guns N' Roses.
No, Guns N'
they
Roses
both
did
did
that
it. They both
too.
did it.
I tend to.
Did you wear a bandana on your head all the time?
Yes.
Can
yes,
you do this-
I had long hair with a bandana.
But-
I had tights. And
Did you
cowboy
suck
boots.
dick
Can
for
you-
money?
Whoa.
Can you do the
tights
serpent
that
dance?
Did you make money with that?
Can you do
No.
the serpent
Yes, you
dance?
can.
Did you make one really great album
I'm not
and then
going
have a
to.
pathetic,
But could
embarrassing
you?
career that
Maybe.
just got worse and worse until almost everyone forgot who you were?
No, actually, people asked me to stop singing at rock bands. So
Are you bipolar?
Not a little.
There we are.
He didn't say he was Axl Rose. He just dressed.
Oh, that's where I got confused.
No, I was all into the big hair bands.
Yeah, me too.
Poison, Cinderella,
Yep.
Motley Crue.
Wow, I almost got into that, and then I decided that I was straight.
Wait.
Because to quote Patton Oswalt, if you were into that in the 80s, you were so incredibly gay. You were gayer than 9 guys blowing 8 guys.
If you're gonna go back to music in the '80s, and I'm sorry, but you guys, how could you talk about music in the '80s and not bring up any rap or hip hop?
We talk about Blondie.
Wait, Grant or Greg.
That's true.
Brother man,
Greg.
I can't believe you just
I
said
have
that.
the answer to that because we are all even including Leon to an extent, very white.
No.
I mean, I hate to break your glasses like that, but there you go.
Yeah, but don't you have like 6 ELO albums?
That's another one of these high yellow jokes, which I'm getting a little sick of. That's
No.
But,
Fair enough.
Whether you liked it or not, there was a big major breakthrough with it. And obviously the big one was Run DMC.
Run
Run
DMC.
DMC with Walk This Way, and then the Beastie Boys. They had the first
But actually,
number one.
that whole album, Raising Hell, was
a great album.
awesome. Yeah,
Well, King of Rock.
I remember that was man in the the mid '80s. For me, it was tricky. Like you could not go anywhere without hearing that fucking song.
Oh yeah, and the Aerosmith song. It's funny. Mary, who couldn't be here tonight, my 23-year-old girlfriend. She 24 now. Jesus Christ, she's
Hold
so
on,
old.
I'm gonna
gotta
go
trade her in.
slice my wrist open a little and get you some salt.
Well, she had
I'll
never
be right
heard of
back.
Run DMC, and then
I'm sorry,
I, was like,
I rolled
playing
my
them.
eyes so hard I gave myself a nosebleed. Could someone give me a tissue, please?
Because you qualified it so much.
No, but the point. Will you give me a second?
My 23-year-old girlfriend that I sleep with on a regular basis,
I
even though.
bang a 23-year-old, so I'm still relevant, you guys.
Okay.
But anyway.
So if I was to just mention her and she was 35, there'd be no point to this story.
You did need to put the parameter for context. I agree.
She's young and
Yes.
she didn't know who they
Please
were.
continue.
Thank you, prick. Anyway, my 24-year-old
But
girlfriend.
you're still a dick for fucking your 23-year-old.
My
And there we are.
24-year-old girlfriend got into Run DMC out of nowhere and really got into it. Went out and bought a fucking Run DMC It's Tricky t-shirt and is wearing it out. And I'm like, people look at her like, did you give her that from your collection? I was like, I didn't even know they still made Run DMC.
And Cyrus is like, no, I don't like black people.
I mean, yeah, I'm from West Virginia.
He's like, I don't listen to those new bands.
Well, I mean, you had that, and then you had
It's all Gap Band for me.
Gap Band. I love the Gap
Like-
Band.
Hey, man,
Obama,
I like
me?
the
You
Gap
kidding
Band.
me?
You shut up.
Yeah.
Speaking of
What
white
about
people,
those
speaking of white
musical,
people, for me, like the major hip hop album was Paul's Boutique.
Paul,
Yeah.
but that was 89 or 90. 89.
It was 80.
89.
It was when
89.
I was still in high school.
No, it was 89 because they had the 20
Yeah.
year of it this year. Same thing with De La Soul's. 3
Oh
Feet
yeah,
High
that
and
3 Foot High and Rising
man,
was
yeah.
one of the first hip hop albums I actually went out and bought.
But in the mid 90s, you had all the Def Jam stuff. Which you had Run DMC, and they made the movie Crust Groove.
Well,
that.
Run DMC was mid-80s, you mean? Not
Mid
mid-90s.
80s. Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and then LL
Mid-80s.
Cool J, of course,
and
was
radio
very
is
big
still
then.
one of the greatest. You see, I know LL's getting ready to jump on TV and all that stuff. He does movies, but when he raps, he's still great. Oh, look at Kristen's like, what is it about LL? You just love him,
No,
don't you?
I'm just excited about my shiny scarf.
Oh, jeez.
She's not even paying
Shiny
attention
scarf
to
She's
us
land.
at all.
like, shiny scarf. What are you talking about? Strange black man with a guitar.
I
magpie over
was
there.
like, LL Cool J, yummy.
Not a bad looking man. You know what LL Cool J stands for?
The ladies love Cool James.
I thought it was Cool Jason. I'm pretty sure it's Cool Jason.
He actually named himself after you.
Yes.
I wasn't going to say anything, but it's
So
unconfirmed.
apparently, in addition to only reading comic books, you were also smoking crack during the 80s.
Wait, no.
Hey, who wasn't?
Yeah,
Hey,
who
it was
it?
the 80s. We all smoked crack.
All did
I mean,
everybody
the CIA
Until
just
Nancy
introduced
Reagan
it, you
told
had to
us
come try it.
that we didn't have to.
just say no.
Yes.
Just say
You
no.
And that's why no one is on drugs anymore.
How about the next question?
I was so white in the 80s that the hip hop I listened to in the 80s was DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Yes. You're so, as opposed to now, how white you are?
Right, yeah. Exactly.
Are you a Scientologist? Oh, sorry.
Tom Cruise.
Praise Zeno.
Was Sugar Hill Gang 80s or not?
Yes, late 70s.
Was it late 70s? Because that was my introduction to rap.
Yeah,
and right
that's-
after that was Raising Hell, which was like, oh my God.
Well,
that's
that's-
when I decided this stuff was okay.
Well, and to be honest with you, with hip hop and stuff,
This stuff is okay, fellas.
Well, it was exactly
you
like
guys are
that.
swell. You guys are swell. Look at the way they dance around in the hats.
I didn't
They're
like
really
all
good
that
guys.
NWA business, though.
They're really swell.
As long as you guys know your place on the charts,
now
then
that-
I've
How
got
about-
no problem with
How
it.
about some Public Enemy? It's got a great beat, and you can dance to it.
That Freak the Police. I don't know about that.
I didn't like those two live crew boys,
Two Live
though.
Crew stuff.
Why do they have to talk like that with all them dirty words?
He's so horny.
I also KRS-One.
Oh, KRS-One.
KRS-One,
I mean, well,
Boogie Down
yeah,
Productions.
Boogie Down Productions, and then Scott LaRock got. I don't want to go into the whole thing, but I mean,
Thank
all
you.
that stuff basically hip hop. No, I mean,
I'm in the sense you don't like rap
don't?
music.
no,
Really?
no, no, no. It's a big thing when you had like all the East Coast stuff from basically '83, because the first Run DMC record came out was called Run DMC, had Rock Box on it. That was 83. That's when they were in the black and white video. And then they had King of Rock in 85, which is still one of my favorite hip-hop videos.
I'm just going to keep mentioning Run DMC songs until Jason explosively decompresses.
I love Run DMC. No, I know all the words to Tricky. And
Then how come I get made fun for liking them? And everyone's like, oh, yeah, of course you do.
Sure,
Because you're fucking a 23-year-old. Fuck you.
And I mean, but like when it started off with that, and then it went to all the political stuff with Public Enemy, KRS Run
DMC, Tribe Called Quest.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could go on and on and on with
Tone
it.
Loc.
It's just
Arrested
Tone
Development.
Loc. Hey, you know what? There were some
Young
great
MC.
there were some great one-hit wonders that were good.
Third base, Snow.
Third base. Oh, third base. Pop goes the weasel because the weasel goes pop. That's great.
Blah, blah, blah.
And then the Arabs came and they started buying Mercedes Benzes. Then Prince Charles started wearing all of Lady Di's clothes.
So what's the next question or
Go to
whatever?
the next question.
All right, this one is just for you,
For me?
Jason, because you're probably I don't have an answer for this. But Timmy Cupcake says, "Hells to the motherfucking yes! The '80s was by far the greatest time for professional wrestling, and we all have to admit that
Yes.
pretty much everyone, which
Yes.
is not me, but everyone else, did actually watch it back then. So my question is, in a time where every professional wrestler had a funny little shtick, who was your favorite WWF
Jake
wrestler?
the Snake
and why did
Roberts
you like them so much?
and the DDT.
That was a good one.
DDT.
I fucking love Jake
That was-
the Snake.
he was
Because
good.
he was like the only wrestler who didn't yell at his opponents and put on a big show. He talked very
Jimmy Fly.
very
Superfly
pointedly at people
Snuka.
and told him exactly what he was
Superfly.
going to do,
Yes.
and you couldn't deny the power of DDT.
Before you go any further, I just want to put this out here just so there's no confusion. Just because I didn't personally watch wrestling doesn't mean I am bigoted against it. Thank you very much.
I'm bigoted against it.
I am because my last name's Hogan, so fuck wrestling.
Yeah, I was actually a big wrestling fan.
I loved wrestling.
Yeah,
I
I
love
would- I
Rowdy
did too.
Roddy Piper because we finally got a representative of Scottish culture.
My favorite.
I mean, fighting a lot and swearing and being loud. Wow.
But he didn't.
Finally,
drink.
they
He
did
wasn't
that.
drinking in the ring.
Yeah, he didn't drink on stage.
Actually my favorite wrestler was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat because he was this like acrobatic ninja dude. Yeah, that was cool. Rowdy Piper, Junkyard Dog.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan,
Oh,
Coco Beware, the Ultimate
Yes.
Warrior.
yeah.
There were so many of these
Bret
guys
the Hitman Hart.
who were on like the
The
Houston wrestling
Undertaker.
circuit.
The
I used to
Undertaker
watch.
was the best.
It was like a soap opera. I remember being in art school around in that mid
Which is
'80s.
why you liked it.
Yeah, it was such a soap opera every week to watch that and get to school and talk about it with everybody. And we was like, yeah, we know this is dumb, but we're really into it. And then the whole real WWF
real.
with Hulk Hogan and the Iron Sheik and all those guys, it kind of co-opted all the the local guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's some little obscura. Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
Glow.
They were not gorgeous, but they were ladies and they did wrestle. They were up
gorgeous ones
wrestling.
in there.
There's some
Were
good looking
there?
chicks.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, I was talking to this buddy of mine, and this was just a couple of years ago, long after the sunset of the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. And I was talking to him, and he said, so, yeah, you ever watch Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling? This is like out of the blue. And I'm like, shit, yeah. I used to watch it all the time, man. What are you talking about? He's like, well, my mom was Queen Kong Bundy. I was
There was
like,
a Queen Kong Bundy?
I was like,
my
fuck
God.
off.
So
He
does
said,
that make her
yeah, there
dad?
were like 3 of them, but she was the biggest one.
Would that make her? Was his dad King Kong Bundy?
no, it didn't work that way,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Wow. That's impressive.
That
Yeah.
is.
That's really impressive.
And I remember her, and I was like, don't take this the wrong way, but your mom was terrifying.
Yes.
she was.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, yeah.
She was like that out of the ring.
Literally, my only exposure to wrestling was the John Carpenter film. What's it
They
called?
Live?
They Live. That was
Oh,
it.
yeah, there you
I
go.
didn't watch it at all, but I was
David
like,
Keith?
"What is up with this fight scene? It's so weird the way it's." And they're like, "Yeah, Roddy Piper. He's a wrestler. They're doing like a wrestling thing." It's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
Love
my
that
favorite wrestling personality was not a wrestler. It was Mean Gene Oakland.
Yes.
Mean Gene,
Yes.
right.
I actually liked the Cyndi Lauper video where
Oh,
Cyndi
yeah.
Lauper's the
Dr.
wrestler.
Lou.
Yeah, Captain Lou.
Lou.
Captain Lou Albano.
Cindy Lauper.
Mario.
Yeah.
Right. See, I think I now know how Greg feels when we're talking about comics. I have no idea what the hell you guys are talking
Man,
about for the
well,
most part.
Good call.
I mean, I know
Hey,
you guys.
Randy, we'll do some wrestling later. I'll show you some things.
Awesome.
You guys got a whole homoerotic thing going on here, don't you?
No, D3's working that on his own. I don't know what he's doing.
I'm trying.
Sounds. I smell a sexual harassment suit coming up. This whole thing.
We're not actually paying anyone though, so I don't think that works.
No. I mean with Randy being D3's boss.
Oh, that's true. They got their own setup.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, man, I tell you, you guys don't listen to Howard Stern, but the Iron Sheik comes on there. And,
oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And he's quite a character in his old, drug-addled age. And it's yes, you son of a bitch, that Hulk Hogan here, that Randy Macho Man savaged his life. Elizabeth, she was a great lady. I loved her. But fuck Macho Man Randy Savage. He is faggot. He is son of bitch. He smoked my crack. He smoked my weed. Oh, but Elizabeth, I
and
love
this
her
is
so
absolutely verbatim.
Yes, yeah, it is. It's close.
No, but I thought the whole he wasn't even from anywhere else at all. He was just like had a Brooklyn accent or something in real life.
Oh
No.
No. I mean, he tends to tell stories about how he was once like the Shah of Iran's bodyguard, and he won Olympic, wrestling medals. Which every other wrestler has gone like, no, that's complete bullshit.
Because bullshit is international, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, when you shoot steroids into the vein under your cock, it might affect
son of
you.
bitch.
This is going to be Leog 20 years later. It's going to be one of us.
Yeah.
Yelling.
Just say it.
The really bitter one.
Yeah. Jason drank all of my Lone Star.
He told me shut fuck up all the time. I hate Jason. Shut fuck up.
It'll be Grant in his fez hat.
So very angry, Jason. Oh,
Normally starts sounding like Cone.
but
To be fair,
Kristen, fuck Jason.
To be fair, he and Fish will be the only surviving members of
Say that.
Leon.
They'll be the last two, and they'll be the ones that get to write the story of what it was really all about.
They'll make all the money.
One time I fell asleep in the same room with Jason, and when I woke up, most of my teeth were missing and my pants were unbuttoned.
I fucked him, then I punched him right in the mouth.
Well, you gotta come.
Cyrus for the win.
He always does that shit. Next question.
Sounds like a good place for a new question. Yeah.
Okay. Ever win, and tell me if I read this last week, because I don't really remember. Before everybody went crazy with Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter in the 80s, Hollywood had its fair share of fantasy films. Do you guys have any favorites from then?
Willow? I don't know. What are you looking for?
We did that last week.
Okay,
Did we do
good.
this last week? Kristen would know.
I think we did.
Kristen, did we ask favorite fantasy film from the 80s?
Yeah.
Not
Did you guys bring
specifically,
up Dark
but
Crystal or Labyrinth?
There is
Yeah.
only one
Yeah,
real
you guys-
answer, and that answer is the sword and the sorcerer,
No.
and we're done.
I don't know. Krull.
No, you're wrong.
we didn't specifically ask that question, but a lot of people's answers were fantasy based.
Yeah.
So,
I think we can
we've covered. I feel we've
comfortably
covered
move
it.
on.
Please,
I like Fred Sonia.
I liked Willow
No, you
with
didn't.
Val
Stop
Kilmer
Did,
as Mad
and
Mardigan.
I own all of them, right?
Mad
I own
Mardigan!
Red Sonja, Conan 1, Conan 2.
Conan 1 was the
own
first
them.
time I saw breast. When he threw no, seriously, when he
I
threw
love
the
those
maiden
movies.
into the pit with or into the cage
Yes.
room, and then she took off her top or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the first time I saw breast, and my dad took me to that, and I'm very happy. Thank you.
Conan, what is best in life?
Boobs.
That should
No, wait, what's that speech? Waste and pillage of women and have what? Did you have that one?
To crush your enemies, see them driven before you,
and
and to hear the lamentation of the women.
Yes. Great.
Yeah,
that should really be a question. When's the first time you guys saw boobs? Because it's really getting answered a lot tonight.
I don't remember boobs, but the first time I saw full frontal male nudity was in Monty Python's Life of Brian.
First time I saw it was probably the third
Unfortunately, it was
Leog.
a big gawky gay guy.
And it didn't turn me gay, so.
Yeah, that wouldn't, though, probably. Anyway,
You've seen that scene? It's not something to behold.
Graham
that's
Chapman,
true.
full frontal nudity.
No, it's not like I want some of that. You're like, oh,
God.
is that what it's like? It's like a.
That can't possibly be good.
yeah.
Why is there a snake wearing a sweater between his legs? Anyway, somebody whose name got deleted, and I apologize to you, asked, there are a lot of forgotten gems of the 80s, like The Last Starfighter, Monster Squad, American Pop, Streets
we
of
answered
Fire. I don't think we did.
Did we not?
I don't think we
I'm
answered
sorry.
this.
I don't think you did.
What are some of the league's favorite diamonds in the rough?
I think this was Jalford that actually asked this one.
Oh,
No.
that's why the name was deleted.
Oh, sorry.
Then the whole question would have been deleted. Because they're not there on the site anymore.
You're feeding the fuel of his murderous rage. He's like stalking through the yard right now.
Is that who that is?
Awesome. There's a whole room full of knives. In the
Movies that were diamonds in the rough.
Go ahead, Grant.
Well, we already said Sword and the Sorcerer.
Sword.
I really liked Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
It was a great movie, and it was about some kid in a trailer park playing a video game, and I totally identified with that. So.
Plus, Robert Preston's last appearance on celluloid. Well worth it. Great to watch him.
A precursor to the Matrix in that it said, like, hey, your preoccupation with computer and computer games is all worth something.
And I mean, back then, now you look at it and you're just like, wow, this stuff makes fucking Babylon 5 look like the fucking Matrix. But, back then, those completely computer-generated graphics were incredible. They were cool. They were completely awesome. And the last scene where he does a little, ball of fury, taking out all the fucking aim, that's right on, man. It's awesome.
I'm going to go with Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon.
Yes. Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have to say it that way, too. You have to say
Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon. Yeah, exactly.
He puts his name on
Who's the Shogun of Harlem?
Yeah. Just for that line. Yeah, that is good. I was going to say that, but you took it from me now. I got to think of another one.
What about The Brother from Another Planet?
Love that.
Yeah, great John Sayles film.
Absolutely fantastic movie. 1984. Really great.
I didn't see Monster Squad until like a year or two ago, and I'm like, how the hell did I miss this movie in the 80s? I would have loved it then, and I loved it now, so I'm glad I finally got to catch it.
Explorers.
Explorers.
Ooh, nice one.
Yeah.
Can it be like a bad movie? You
Well, bad movie you like. Yeah.
Okay, well, I've got two then. I've got Dr. Detroit and DC Cab.
Oh, God, I love Dr. Detroit.
I love those.
Love Dr. Detroit.
I mean, the best line ever. Mom, I'm going to tear off your head and shit down your neck. And the way he says it with his arm up and stuff. Dan Aykroyd, if you have never seen it. It's just classic.
Plus Mr. T in DC Cab. Come on.
Mr. T, Grady.
Mr. T.
Yeah.
Grady from Sanford Son.
Yeah.
Don't let your dick rule your life.
Oh, wait, who's the guy from Barney Miller's in it? He's like the main guy.
Fish?
No, not Fish. Oh man.
Fish, you were in DC Cab?
No, not Hal Linden. The other guy who's like
Ron Glass?
Is it? I don't know.
Is he the black guy, the Chinese guy, the Mexican guy?
Or the Jewish guy?
No, he's a Jewish. He's just a white guy.
He was what? Okay, and it's not.
The main teacher on.
Was it the
Barney
guy?
Miller.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. It's Max Gale who played Wojo.
Thank you.
The Polish guy.
Yeah, and he's
See, I'm good for something.
Thank you.
I really liked the movie The Flight of the Navigator as a kid, which it turns out they're actually remaking into a movie. I don't know.
Yeah, I read
why,
that.
but
Well, one of those weird, awkward things. You're like, really?
yeah, it had Sarah Jessica Parker in one of her first movies.
It did.
That was a very brief cameo.
Post Square Pegs, I take it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think so.
That's before she started looking like a foot.
My other favorite movie was this movie. There was an animated movie called The Flight of the Dragons that featured John Ritter as a voice, but it was like these dragons and there's these 4 wizards from this realm.
And when you think dragons and wizards, how can you not think of John Ritter?
It was awesome. It was made by AHF, who used to make a bunch of kids movies. Maybe it's AHF. I think so.
I will say one of the bigger things for me in the 80s, like, character elements anyway, was getting into punk rock and hardcore. And so, like, big troika movies for me was Penelope Spears' Suburbia.
Oh, yeah.
Repo Man by Alex Cox.
Indeed.
And Sid and Nancy by Alex Cox, which were just these 3 great things that, some of which showed the history of punk rock and some of which showed, like, how kids in LA punk were actually living.
Well, you missed the 4th part of that, which is Decline of Western Civilization.
The Decline of Western Civilization, which is part 1. Don't watch part 2 because it's about metal. But the part 1 is they interviewed Darby Crash from the Germs and John Doe and Exing Cervenka from X and all these great LA hardcore bands.
One of the only filmed portraits of one of the most vital and crazy music scenes in history.
Yeah, if you've ever read stuff like Our Band Could Be Your Life or American Hardcore or anything like that, if you're interested in that, man, check the fuck out of Decline of Western Civilization because it's a perfect documentary of that really, really brief time in LA music history.
Fish, what about you?
Actually, I was gonna say Last Starfighter, but y'all said it already. I freaking love Robert Preston. That's the reason I love that movie so much.
What else? I mean, surely you've seen something else from that decade that.
No, I was completely sheltered. No, of course,
Terminator.
Terminator, Goonies, of course. I've actually never seen Neverending Story. Sadly,
Neither have I.
Again, I said we have to have a viewing of it. 'Cause
I've never
I'm glad
seen it
they show
either.
All right, let's all come over here and watch it. I'll share it with you.
I was watching sports.
You know, you're getting really heavy. Yay! No, I really, you got to get on my back. Yay!
I want to throw out Fright Night.
I love Fright Night. I love Fright Night.
Hell yeah!
We
I
always
love
have the
that.
same answer.
Evil Ed, baby.
Yeah.
Welcome to Fright Night.
That was awesome.
For real.
Yeah.
I love Roddy McDowell.
Chris Sarandon.
I just want to say
and
that.
Roddy
Has to
McDowell.
have
Yeah.
faith for that to work. Well, outside of Fright Night, I was going to say Fade to Black.
Very nice one as well.
With a guy who looks just like Roddy McDowell, but
Yes.
isn't Roddy
Yeah.
McDowell. Yeah.
Let's not forget about Clue, a film that, while it
I love Clue.
Well, maybe kind of a remake of Murder by Death. It's totally awesome. in its own
Communism
way.
is just a red herring, and now I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife.
Yeah,
Best ending line ever.
Yeah, awesome.
Or remember Modern Problems?
Yeah.
I like it.
I love that with Nell Carter and Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
That line of coke he has to snort in the middle of the. That's the one thing. He had boobs. and he
My
had coke
my favorite
everywhere.
thing about that actually was Dabney Coleman.
Yes.
Especially
Oh,
when
yeah.
he's just walking around on the beach talking into his tape recorder.
I'm a goddamn good-looking man.
And he had this like really bad lisp, but he's like things I like, roots. The book, not that television voice yet.
You know, Dabney Coleman reminds me Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I was waiting for my turn to say Cloak and Dagger.
And
you asshole.
Don't wait, bitch.
Dabney Coleman, Man with One Red Shoe.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah. Shoot.
Dabney Coleman is like a kind of an 80s element, and, and I would like to put on a alum of the University of Texas at Austin.
Yes,
Really?
he is.
Did not know
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Interesting.
I might be alone on this, but Jumping Jack Flash, I think, is a funny.
Oh, I had a lot of fun
great
with Jumpin'
80s
Jack
film.
Flash. Yeah.
One of the only Whoopi Goldberg starring films
Yes.
that's worth seeing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't say it's
you,
good,
huh?
but I've seen Commando like 20 times.
Oh well, yeah.
Commandos. I mean, you got any Arnold Schwarzenegger movies from Red Heat to Commando.
No. But Commando stands alone. It really is a
does.
masterpiece
Wait, that
of
one
bullshit.
thing you guys one thing you guys mentioned last week about the ending lines of the bad lines in these movies. You can do
Stick
it.
around.
You can have that conversation for the whole Leog. It still never gets old.
No, you're right. The Commando is probably like it is the ultimate,
It is.
on high.
Yes.
You set the bar so high, no one can ever beat it. Bad action film.
Well, I mean,
that's wonderful.
the
I mean, how
worst-
can you not like Commando?
and
but
remember when you-
acknowledge that it's completely worthless at the same
I
time.
mean, even the
Randy
editing
pointed
is
out
so
to me
And I
the
will
other
say that
day
Eraser
that,
came close.
No,
I didn't think it did.
But
I didn't think it
the
did.
editing is so bad, and everybody remembers this. After he drops him off the cliff, after he had crashed the yellow Porsche,
And it
it goes
brand
back.
new.
It's a
When-
brand
when
new
it
Porsche.
drives
When
off,
he's
it's
driving
brand
off,
new.
It's a
Well,
brand
you know,
new
Randy's, there are
car.
Porsches
Randy-
everywhere.
Randy told me the other day, and I wasn't aware of this, but Commando written by Jeff Loeb.
It is. That's
Yeah.
true.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
which is to say, bad movie,
I just
totally
love how like there's an
accessible.
army of 30 mercenaries fired at him,
And they're jumping off
while
the
he's
trampolines
running
when-
and not firing back, and they don't hit him with one bullet, not a single one. I'm like, what were they going to do when they got actually sent on their mission?
You know, if they made a movie of Jeff Loeb's Ultimatum, I would probably laugh hysterically through the whole thing. I'd probably see it 30 times and go, "It's so horrible. I love it."
Oh man.
You know what
Right.
80s gem I love? The Three Amigos.
Yeah.
Fucking love the Three Amigos.
We can't show you us all doing the Three Amigos.
Yeah.
Or even like, I mean, there were some really good movies in the like Roxanne was good.
Oh, love Roxanne.
Oh,
yeah.
Lethal Weapon was
Oh, and
ridiculous.
actually, Steve Martin, the height of his form, fucking
Oh.
L.A. Story, dude. That's a
Yeah.
fucking
Lonely
badass.
Guy,
The
the
Jared.
man with
Lonely
two
Guy,
brains,
yeah.
Jerk.
The jerk.
I love the jerk.
All of Me.
Dr. Heffer.
And a little gem that not a lot of people have seen. Dead Men Don't
No,
Cry.
I love that
that
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Which is they take a bunch of old film noir movies with people like Cary Grant and Barbara Stanwyck and all the classic stars, and then they splice it into this film noir movie that Steve Martin is playing a private detective in, and it just works. It is so fucking hilarious.
Here's one I wonder if anybody else is even familiar with, but I saw it a million times. Rad.
Oh yeah, with the BMX.
Yeah, the BMX racing thing.
I was more of a thrashing guy myself.
I was more of a gleaming
I
the
liked
cube.
Rad, but
guy.
it was no gleaming the cube.
Wait, and
yes.
then and nobody
Rad was awful, but I saw it a million
and
times.
nobody ever mentioned last week.
Weekend at Bernie's.
No,
Band of the Hand. Band of the Hand.
terrible movie. I love that movie. Or even like, what's that? What's the bad band movie with Liam Neeson, Julia Roberts, and the star of it?
Mystic Pizza.
No, Days of Summer.
Mystic Summer, Pizza, Endless. Yeah,
it's like the guy.
no one can ever remember. And the star of the movie
Is,
Justine Bateman.
Or what about
Star.
what about Light of Day with Michael
Light
J.
of
Fox
Day. Oh,
and,
Joan Jett.
and Joan
That's
Jett?
not a gem.
No.
What about One Crazy Summer with wasn't it John Cusack?
One Crazy
That's
Summer.
great.
That's ostensibly the sequel to Better Off.
Yes.
Lick, were you that little boy? No, I used to beat the crap out of him, take him out back.
Okay, the scene where Bobcat Goldthwait is sitting hiding outside
Yes.
of the thing, where they've got this giant setup of a city, a miniature city that they're showing off, like these developers, and he's stuck in a Godzilla outfit, and the guy thinks he's like a fancy garbage can, so he throws a cigar in his mouth. So he comes out and he stomps on the whole city with smoke billowing out of his Godzilla. I couldn't breathe for like 3 minutes. And
Man, Bobcat Goldthwait in the 80s, going back to Jumpin' Jack Flash, his bit in that movie where he's getting drunker and drunker and hitting on women is hysterical.
I don't know why, but I just love the scene where Mark Metcalf, who is the antagonist's dad, he's trying to buy. He's the main antagonist. He's trying to buy the island, buy up Demi Moore's house. And Mark Metcalf's the guy who played the first bad in Buffy.
oh yes, he is.
He was also the dad in the Twisted Sister
And he's
video.
also, of
yeah.
course, Niedermeyer in Animal House.
That guy. Okay.
What are you gonna do with your
life? But the scene where he's got the crossbow and he's firing at this target that is basically a spinning thing with two live lobsters on it. And you're like, what the fuck? Why are you doing that?
Well, you know what? We're kind of getting to the end of this point 5, the final episode of Volume 2.
Whoa, wait. What about that movie where the guy's like trapped in the building with the terrorists?
That was gay porn.
Die
Anyway,
Hard.
oh,
Gay
was that in the
porn.
80s?
Die Hard was gay
I thought
porn.
that was 90s.
No, I was kidding. I'm
Was that
pretty
in
sure
that?
Die Hard is not a
It's not a gem.
diamond.
Yeah.
Gem in the Rough? No, it is not.
Yeah,
Die Hard
it's
is one of
pretty
the biggest
mainstream.
movies of the 80s. In fact, I think it's in the top 10
And that
performers.
changed, it changed action movies. It changed everything.
What about Teen Wolf? Wasn't that in the 80s?
Also Jeff Loeb.
Yes, it is.
What
Jeff
about
Loeb wrote Die Hard?
No. Teen Wolf.
Give me a heart attack,
In a
man.
horrible alternate universe, yes.
Jeff
probably
Loeb
wrote Die Hard
he
2.
wrote Teen Wolf and he wrote Commando, which apparently made people at DC Comics go, "Hey, this guy should write Batman for years." What the fuck's wrong with you people?
Well, just so you know, the top 10 grossing films were E.T., Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, Batman, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Ghostbusters, Beverly Hills Cop, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
And Gone with the Wind.
all those Indiana Jones movies? Yeah, were in the 80s. Wow.
Yeah.
It's just wow. It's just amazing to think like how.
Just why it makes the latest one.
Yeah,
seem
it's just yeah.
so
it's
sad.
Like, wait a second, that's 20 years ago, and Harrison Ford was
It's
in
like,
his late 30s.
Hold on, Marion. I'll take care of these communists once I go get a barium enema. I'll be right back.
I've got to take my pulse. Okay. But before we're done, let's just say, go round robin and say, if you could think of the one thing, just whatever it is about the 80s that's your absolute favorite thing, what is it? We did it last week and it was different.
Yes, but now important people are here. So
Yes.
hush.
Be quiet.
Oh, you mean Greg and Grant?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes. We rule.
Nothing is better than Lycra spandex.
Wait.
Whoa.
I'm kidding.
All right, I'm going to skip y'all and say Bowie in like a spandex.
Yeah.
Done.
That was more 70s.
Kidding.
No, it's
Kidding.
not Labyrinth.
Well, no, Let's Dance was
Okay.
all 80s.
Lycra spandex.
think-
That's your choice.
Just
And now you're stuck with it.
Bonnie Bell lip smackers.
American underground hardcore in the 80s. Oh God, I love it so
Yeah, I share
fucking
that.
much.
I share that with you.
Hip hop in the 80s, all of it.
Cartoons in the 80s
Uh-huh.
and their
Turbo
accompanying merchandise. I loved it.
Turbo Team.
Only saying that to annoy Leon, and you know it.
Look at him. Look how angry he is.
You're right. It was totally
he fell
worth
for the
it.
bait.
He's clawing at his eye.
What's wrong with me watching the show and then and buying a Cobra Trouble Bubble? Fuck you.
What was your favorite thing, Leon? Going through menopause?
Menopause?
I don't
Really
know.
that
I'm just
dumb?
still trying to do an old and you're a woman joke.
But it worked though.
I respect your audacity.
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay.
You can't argue with success, Leon. So anyway, what's your answer?
What's the success that I'm not arguing with?
Just give your damn answer.
I don't have one.
You don't have an answer. You have nothing that you could think of as your favorite thing about the 80s.
What about going to high school with the chick from True Blood?
She didn't talk to me.
Oh,
So not so great.
So not so much that.
Yeah.
Fuck. I didn't know.
Really?
This-
A whole decade? You can't grab anything?
Well, it's a whole decade. You're asking me what's my favorite thing.
I mean, I'm not asking you to like
Grab
write
something
an
you like.
essay about it. Just so as though you think, okay, obviously, probably 5 things pop in your head immediately. Just grab one of them.
Michael Jackson.
All right, there you go. It's a solid answer.
Nintendo.
Nice.
Jim Henson.
G.I. Joe comics.
Right on.
Sci-fi movies in general, like
Yeah.
Blade Runner,
You should say
Terminator,
my
Oh, yeah.
parents' meeting.
Empire, The Abyss.
Your parents' meeting.
Yeah, your
exactly.
parents' meeting. I mean, come on, man.
That was a
What
good
are
one.
you going to possibly say?
Yeah, the glint your daddy's
Greg
eye.
Greg got you on that one.
The gift of life.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Right.
That strange swimming sensation in my father's scrotum.
The music video.
Good.
Oh,
Which
I've
has
never
ceased
heard
to
of it.
exist since
I'm
then,
sorry.
of course.
The music video really killed music. And let me tell
Yes,
you why.
because there is no good music now.
I think
There-
video
well,
really
there's
did
not-
kill
and-
the radio
That's
star.
insane and spoken like someone who doesn't bother
Well, you know-
listening.
no,
to
the-
the
No.
music.
The music video killed the music because it made being a musician more, equally, if not more so, about the look.
No.
So being fat and being talented, sorry, you're
No,
out.
but
I'm gonna
you gotta be
I'm
sexy.
gonna have
true.
to agree with you and defend my
Apparently,
choice.
you have never
I-
seen the singer of Iron and Wine.
Yeah, they say.
No, the music video did. The music video did
I'm
make
sorry,
video
this
with
man's not pretty.
Beyonce have to shake her ass like she does?
No,
Yeah,
the music
no,
video
She might not
did
even be on top.
No,
music
but-
video did make music all about image. But back in the 80s, it was a
Music
new
was all
thing.
about image
It was,
anyway.
it was
Music
image.
has always
It may
been
not have
about
ended
image.
well, but it
If
was
you go
cool.
back
at
to
the
the
time.
Okay, you know what?
50s
It was
and 60s,
good
it's
at the
always
time
about
it came out, but when I look at what it spawned later, oh wait, I'm pulling a fish now. Damn it!
Really? Because I think the music video didn't do that at all. I
No,
think all it did was
is pulling
create
a
a
fish kinda like
firmer
choking a chicken?
line demarcation between popular and radio music and
Right.
actually good music
Right.
that was coming out and didn't get popular till years and years later after lots of people had already been listening.
Yeah,
to
I
it.
mean, because if you go back, I mean, Elvis is all image. Beatles are all image.
I wouldn't say all. image.
No, but I mean,
Image was a huge part.
Image
of
was a
their,
huge
yeah.
part of it. Motown in the beginning was image was a huge part
Meatloaf, all image.
Right, aha, all image.
all image. So I would, but
Actually, I love to just watch aha videos with the muted, and I oil myself.
and I hate
Hey.
to bring this up, but to kind of go back on what you're saying, the two channels that really helped change America, and one of them you guys are totally gonna hate, but ESPN and MTV.
No, you're
changed
right.
them.
No, you're absolutely right, yeah.
I do hate
whatever-
ESPN.
I know you hate it, but
Okay,
the
all
growing
right,
TV
tell you
culture
what.
and sports culture.
Tell me, name me 5 right now unattractive female singers who are on top.
who are on top.
Yeah,
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Cricket.
Oh, wait a minute.
On
Amy
top of-
Winehouse.
On top of who?
Fergie.
Name me 5 stunningly beautiful singers from the 50s. Or excuse me, name me 5 really ugly singers from the 50s.
Exactly, he's 100% right.
I
You
mean,
gonna
I'm
say Doris
sorry,
Day
but,
is
you know.
ugly.
Bill Haley,
Yeah,
You
it
gonna
wasn't
say
the video
Dinah
per
Washington
se.
is ugly?
Buddy Holly.
A lot of those artists are working their way
they
up through
aren't, like,
playing
big-time
live.
sex symbols. They don't have to.
Doris
Like
Day
who?
was a sex symbol.
Who was it?
Doris Day wasn't a sex symbol.
Does she?
In the 50s?
How does she dress?
It doesn't matter. She was still a sex symbol, dude. That's inarguable.
She was sexy and like okay.
No, but
you
you
might
gotta
have a
put it in
crush
the-
on.
Wait,
her.
so she wasn't dressing like a
in the
slut?
context-
Singers
of the
now
era.
are so sexualized.
No, but
that's
the whole
more
culture
of it
is.
than
The whole
than-
culture is, though, man.
That's
The
so
whole
much more of
culture-
it than the actual talent itself.
That is a concatenation of events, and
Whoa,
simply
wait.
stemming it back
Say
to
that word
MTV
again.
is
Bo is making up words
concatenation.
now.
Awesome.
Simply stemming it back to MTV as one source is ludicrous.
Yeah, I agree with with that. I think MTV
I mean,
actually.
Ludacris is another one.
The culture has got consistently more freer in sexual mores, and therefore people have been able to exploit sexuality more.
And MTV was actually a giant doorway opening for filmmakers who finally got a
Exactly.
chance to show what they could do when they wouldn't have otherwise. There was no open venue for them to publicly go, hey, look what I can
Yeah.
do.
We
A
would-
lot of great directors came out of that, like
We
David
would-
Fincher.
David Fincher, Zack
Anton
Snyder.
Corbijn, Michel Gondry.
I mean, it opened up arts in a whole way that never happened.
And the positive
before.
thing you're saying,
Michael
which I
Bay.
agree with, does not negate the negative thing.
No,
either.
it does, because you
Michael
just
Bay,
ignore
yes.
everything that was going on that wasn't on MTV
No, but
and
that's not-
music,
but
which
even
is
then,
tons
but-
and tons and tons of
But
stuff.
but you gotta remember MTV. They didn't play during the day, but at night, when you had 120 minutes on that Saturday night or that Sunday night, they played all that stuff. Then when
They
made videos, they played all that stuff, which was great. And same thing with like underground metal stuff on the Headbangers Ball, and same thing with Yo MTV Raps.
Yeah.
They did. I mean, they didn't play as much of it, but they did play, little bits of it in these weird areas, because they gotta understand too, this is before 24/7 TV. So there's a lot of crap that actually got on air that today people are like, what the fuck are you putting that on
Yeah.
air for? But because they had to fill up a bunch
That's
of
true.
stuff.
I remember I saw so many like underground, great underground movies on Night Flight, which was shown on USA like in the
That's-
80s.
Night Flight was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Ladies and Gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains, saw the Atomic Cafe. I mean, like just
God,
all
I
these.
forgot about Atomic Cafe.
Yeah.
Oh.
I remember that's the first time I saw A Party at Ground Zero by Fishbone.
Yes,
It was
that- which is
fucking
yes,
awesome.
yes.
A great music video.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite bands ever.
Yeah, they are pretty awesome. Got to see them 3 times live.
Hey, I might actually go see them with Living Color, one of my
sweet.
favorite bands ever in
that
San Francisco.
band that had so many hits, like yeah.
Wait, you know what?
Personality.
You
Oh
know
yeah,
what?
that one. And what was the
You
other
know
one?
what? I don't want to
And
go.
Living Color brought us Jim
I don't.
Carrey.
Wait.
I think that's a good wrap up now.
Yeah, it is.
Because we
It's
segued into the 90s, which will
Stop.
be our next decade in discussion. 3 or 4 episodes down the road, maybe.
At some point, maybe
At
when
some
we're
point,
old
yeah.
and
When we're
cranky
ready to
as hell.
ride Volume 3 right into the fucking ground.
I got sad news for you. The 90s are fixing to be like 2 decades away, so you should do it soon.
Oh, good.
Living Color was a decent band.
Living Color. Well, that's.
Okay, wait, what?
We're done with
Oh,
Living
look,
Color.
Pat!
And we're done with Volume 2 of Leog. This is it. This is the last one. And soon you'll have a whole brand new start with all kinds of brand new, fancy, shiny things.
And brand new members, because there will be a culling.
Yeah. And there will be a reckoning.
But you know
Until
what?
then.
Until then, let's give our traditional sign off now and say.
Long live the league!